Hello, ciao bello. We're in. We're just having a long hello there, as Kev just pointed out. As we'll go in and say hello to the room, and here we are. Hello, everyone. Kev, you want to say?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Jazz Club. Nice. Good evening, everybody. How are we? Good to see you. See you all in the room. Having a chat amongst yourselves. Hope everything's good. Hope you had a lovely day today, and some of you got to enjoy the sunshine. I hope you didn't go too far, you ragamuffins. Oh, stop breaking them rules. We'll be on lockdown. Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah, thank you for joining. You're well. You're good. Are you, brother?
Myself,
Yeah.
yes. I am, yes, I'm in good spirits, chilled, particularly chilled and relaxed. Had a nice day here, managed to sit out in it a bit on the back step, you know. Didn't wander too far in case Google blasted me or sent a drone over or something. Then the Nazi regime we're all under. No, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm in good spirits. Just feeling quite relaxed today and this evening. So it's all good.
That's good. So I'm
And
happy.
yourself, David?
Happy to hear it. Yeah, the chest is cleared up from the what I had a week or so ago before this pandemic of fear hit and cold and influenza, possible COVID, and yeah, I'm strong, good.
Oh, was you on one of them? I'm dying.
The lemon and the honey has sorted me right out at night time before bed, and maybe a little bits of the tonics, the alchemy that we dabble in. So the gills are good.
Yeah.
All is well, thank you. We have
Yeah,
a title. I want to just explain, say hello to everybody. It's the 5th of April, I think, Sunday, and we was going to go live last night, but it was 11:30. But by the time we pulled our fingers out, and I said we had a chat and agreed we'd come in today after the Royal British Monarch there.
Oh, yes, after our little personal visit today we've had. It's lovely.
Yeah, we went on the .com and had a weekly private update, and then we agreed to come back on today after the Royal Monarch address is via the vehicle of television media, British Broadcasting Corporation, and etc. So you've got the sidelined by guidelines. That's just a play on words, really. Our rights, man's rights. You know, you've got your civil liberties on one side, and then you've got rights and unalienable, and these God Creator ordained, which we give up, which we sacrifice, we leave, and take for, whichever way you look at it, roughly. So sidelined by guidelines, rule of law. Is it rule or is it law? Such things as. So I was happy to see she referred to us as Brit-ons. Briton on land, I like that. Briton, Anglo-Saxon, Brit. She didn't say the English. Hello to all the English subjects there, or she didn't say anything about the UK. That was good to see. I'm just going for what take 4 minutes and 20 something. Was it, Kev? You said there.
4:23 or something. Yeah, I think it was. I looked at the time and I thought, what was the point in that? Really, it was a bit. Was it worth it, Liz? Come on now. Why don't you just stay tucked up next to the corpse that is Phillips? And that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What a waste of time. I'll tell you what, it made me a little bit wince a little bit was the pathetic bit about we'll meet again. I thought, oh, fuck me. Dame Vera's going to drag her out of the ground in a minute and get her singing.
Yes, well, we will meet again, maybe at Queen's Bench. She's 93 Anon, so she looked quite stable. I thought if my grandma had been, lucky to
banging her up with
anybody's
smack 10 minutes before she went on.
anybody's grandma lasting like to that age, ripe age of, and you know how they struggle on with the bones. And I think my grandma had a slipped breastbone issue for 4 years, and they wouldn't operate and put it back. Needed to go under anaesthetic and operate because she slipped on ice and knocked the breastbone. You know where you lift your arm up and you've got on a man, our breastbones around the front on the top of our chest, and you got the two little connectors by your Adam's apple or underneath, you know, on your chest. And women's, it tucks underneath the actual breastplate, and if like you get older like my grandma did and slip, that like just knocks it and it will pop out. And I was like, wow, that looks painful, but it wouldn't operate for the danger of. And I'm like, the Queen there, she was stable, she was steadfast, she didn't wibble, she didn't have any of the like, you know, I'm a people watcher. I told you I know you lot are as well. So eyes all over the place when the camera's on. So yeah, she's stable. She looked composed after the news that we've had so far in just 2020, let alone, you know, the last decade or 20 years. That woman looks like she's not at home. There was no emotion there. All right, it looked like an Android presentation. If you notice, it was very, very composed and very calm, very stable. And yeah, the UK will get through, rallying us in a way, saying well done for clapping. She did say well done everyone for clapping. That's lovely of us to do.
Well done, peasants. Thanks, peasants. Thanks for your obedience, peasants.
I remember that.
Keep sending us the shekels.
While we have faced challenges before, this one is different. The Queen said, "You can get that. You can write all there, QE2. We do see that for many reasons." I do like the way that all nations like Italy, Russia, Germany. I know there's a bit of political issue with masks and President Trump and 3M and etc. But that aside, there has been a lot of camaraderie. The UN must be squirming with all this friendly, you know, because these are forging. Don't you see what is happening here with this shutdown? Is that these leaders are like, hey, all right, John, how you doing? And they shouldn't be chatting like that and getting on. I'm not saying it's going to be fixed overnight, but it is comical that these strict avenues have now fallen down. You know, so the nations, a globe-wide, realm-wide endeavour to try and tackle this is compassion. You know, it's good there because there's a solidarity in some ways. We've asked for that, and we're getting it now. We've got a chance. You know, it's maybe like in a trippy dream, the creator, the universe, Gaia, etc., atom. Is now giving us a chance. Can you all pull together? This is your last time to prove yourselves, you know. Imagine. And we didn't pull together. Angry Gaia lets us know we've failed, you know, whatever. But the monarch there, the title is what I wanted to read to you. It's sidelined by guidelines, and so that's your rights and your policy. And the monarch there, she's the spearhead of the sovereign entity that we awarded sovereignty to. And the title there, Tetra, your tetragrammaton, as we've covered, is the Jewish name, other than saying Yahweh and Yeshua and things. You've got the text giving you that name and the reason for Tetra. Tetra, if you simply reduce it down to the four-sided milk carton and think that you've all seen at some point printed Tetra Pak on their carton, cardboard, four-sided. So Tetra would be associated with four. I'd like to argue, if I need to, and Tri. Tri is the three, the number three, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost in a way. The Trismegistus, though, Hermes and Thoth, the Atlantean, before so much of the timeline of the Bible itself. So then from Tri, you'd go to Bi, the Bible, then coming with the kind of duality, heaven and hell. Two, bi is two, bilingual, you know, bi, etc. And so then leading to the mon, which is the one, monarchy, monotheism, monosibyllic, moni. We've been down here too many times. You've got it. So then that's your 4, 3, 2, 1, tetra, tri, bi, and mon. The monarch is the one arc that's leading there that we've just seen address. This is a British landmass and it's sovereign man's. And then we've gone and found phi with the Fibonacci, which is kind of like 5, but it isn't. 5 is 5, but ph and the pfi Fibonacci brother Santos Fibonacci is the nickname I've afforded S-Man there. But yeah, five physical, phi cycle, Greek language mixed in with it. I like to think that the five could be number five, because we find with the Fibonacci and the vortex and the sciences and the quantums, here we are, the grammar, London grammar, quantum grammar, and these monarchies, the, the Queen saying, what did she say about the people? Just to wrap it up, so that explains the title. So like realm wide, and where we are with consciousness and locality of rights and self. She said something like, we are going to, she'd like to think of us as some of the most strongest Britons that had ever been since, what was it? Can you remember what she said there, Kev? I'm struggling, I haven't got notes.
Oh, she.
What did she
Of
say?
any generation or something like that, wasn't it?
I don't know, yeah.
Sort of. I think she was like trying to liken the modern generation to the war generation. Which I'm sorry is laughable.
Oh, the separation from loved ones, having to send the children away for their safety. I'm not sure that there's some allegations there whether or not they were safe, and if they went missing, and where those children, bless them, may or may not have ended up with that. So there's claims. I'm not making them. There's through history. I'll struggle to research to reference it now, but it's not as clear cut as we may see, as
Oh, there's
always.
plenty. Yeah, there's. Oh, that wasn't that the. Oh, you talking about the ones they got found guilty of in what's it called?
There's too many. Yeah, there's lots.
Yeah, there's actually
There's lots. I'd rather not go through them all, but
No,
yeah.
I just mean I think I felt she was sort of trying to make correlation between the the last great community effort was wartime, wasn't it? And I think she was trying to correlate to that, which I just don't see. Bloody hell! If only we still had that spirit, shit would be different. I tell you. But there you go.
Yeah, I agree. There is the palace should be emptied and used for a children's, hospital or something, assets, and use it as a home for the
Yeah.
homeless and things. They're all disbanding and going to their other non-state or stately, residential homes that they have. You got Buckingham as the resident main place.
Fortresses,
Yeah, and they've got these.
bunkers.
Let's get them in, let's get it sorted out. But I wanted to say I wanted to clarify. She mentioned there that we are to be considered some of the strongest Britons since Britons was Britain, since pimping was pimping,
Yeah.
that kind of lingo. So I was like, no, ma'am, because these Britons, and I'm speaking for Britons now, as it's the Queen and it's addressing this landmass, but to the rest of the fam, this goes to you as well. But we're going to come and let them know in some fashion this year that that the jig is up. The keystone has been found, and we'd like to balance the tables, and with regards to our goals and souls. I'll leave it there. And we are some of the I don't know, the last line at the minute, 40, demographic 30, mid-20s to 40s to 60s. Speaking to a 66-year-old just the other day that come through on Sun and Moon at Marilyn, scribe that I chatted to, and I just happened to ask, you sound quite experienced, and she says, yes, I'm 66, David. I'm like, wow, look at this, sovereigns and initiates. It just carries on. But most of the demographic 30 to 40, is about there. And we remember, we got history, we've got the we are the last line of, until the next one comes to replace us. So we will be letting them know in these ways of, if you so choose, one way or the other. It seems that this is they said a year like no other, and things are happening, world realm stopping in many ways. So I just thought, yeah, with regards to who we are the best versions of ourselves. It's only because of the internet. It's no disregard to anybody there are such amazing minds that have been before us. We cannot come. I'm not saying that Plato and Aristotle's and all of the masters, the scholar, if you can just forgive me, but no, I'm not saying we are cleverer than them. All I'm saying is that we are at the point now where, because of the internet, we, like no other man before us, can collate gigabytes, if not terabytes of filthy data, and we cleanse it, we defragment it, and we reorchestrate it, we translate it, we put it back together, we have a chat, and no other man, time, like form of consciousness has had that, like, where's my minority report, shifting the screens and getting all of this depth and referencing, so at the touch of a button and in seconds, fractions of a second. So we've done that for years, and we've made some stark, wonderful, horrific, amazing, life-changing and upsetting revelations. So, we are the best version of man because of the technology alone. No insult to anybody. I think I've explained that well, and with homage to the ones that have indeed led us here to get this technology to use, to be able to do this with the data. And I find it fascinating that now Facebook, or shut down, is censoring and filtering and while shipping there the censorship fact posts after the hoo-ha that it's had, like it's now trying to anoint itself as the holier than holies. We only have facts on this data mining website of lies and deceit. You can shove it up your ring piece. I'm sorry, Facebook
Jesus,
CEOs.
yeah,
It's too little, too late. Wow, I yield.
yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? Oh,
Fake
we're gonna
news.
try and make amends. Unbelievable.
You,
Makes you sick.
you can echo Kev. Go on. I'm going to breathe. Get a drink. Read the room. Um,
I don't. As I say, that was. I mean, it's not something I would normally watch, right? Even Christmas. I don't do any of that bollocks. But I thought I've got to have a listen. But I thought we was going to get a good 15 minutes or so, maybe. At worst.
a G up of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus Christ. So sorry, Jeebus Christos.
Take the money and run. Take the money and
Yeah.
run. Give me those taxes and see you. Bye.
Give me my check.
Do you
Now
feel
go
that?
away, stinking peasant.
Do you feel love? No, not really. We spend more time with the scribes for love and the crack
Gee,
than.
where is she? It's such a joke. Such a joke. Never mind. What can we expect? It's all a farce. All the world's a stage.
Let's go into the room. I'm going to address and see, man, for us who we've got. Hello
Yeah,
to
it's up the top.
Fam. Thank you. Welcome. Keith, Ewok, Alan.
Hello. Yeah.
What? Go on.
Atom.
Autumn. Yeah.
Chris, hello, mate. Chris, it's mental, mate. You keep sending me stuff. I think, right, must speak to Chris. Must at least acknowledge him. I haven't forgotten you, mate. To be honest with you, I've had company for lots of extra days. It's been really nice. So,
It gets done soon, yeah.
and the sun was out, Chris. That's my excuse. But apart from that, I'm a total wanker, as you know.
Banker. Don't call yourself a banker.
I would never call myself that. I would not stoop so low. Keith, Chris, Alan, Atom.
Alan's put a request in there. I've noticed Alan's request. If you just
he's straight in there, and look at that.
He wants to assist in court if they don't mind. So here's a link for. This isn't to help you, Alan. This is just because I've already been looking earlier. What's happening? This is a report from where the .gov UK, a statement from the Lord Chancellor on the running of courts during the coronavirus pandemic from the 18th of March 2020, and it's from the MOJ Ministry of Justice, HM Courts and Tribunals Service, and the Right Honourable Buckland QC MP. And to surmise, it says that the magistrates and courts Crown Court cases lasting 3 days or more will be temporarily postponed, and it says that with regards to the judiciary, and I will issue further statements after considering the most current advice from Public Health England, and then explain how this impacts those who are often under the legal obligation to attend court. I am particularly grateful to all the staff, professionals, legal, judicial office holders, including magistrates, that have worked to keep our courts running so far, and I know their commitment to the administration of justice will help this continue moving forward and on, not stopping. Our Crown and Magistrates courts provide a vital public service. Well, I don't know that, but to whom vital public service, and until instructed otherwise, we expect all lawyers,
Raping of people to continue.
we expect all lawyers, magistrates, jurors, witnesses, defendants, okay, I'll repeat that, defendants and court staff. Lastly, court staff, you come after defendants. Look, you're lower than defendants. Court staff
Yeah.
left till last. And so all of them to continue to attend court, to continue, everyone, UK courts, magistrates, as required, so the interests of justice can be served. I'd like to rebut that. Just wow, you could really get. I'm sorry, sovs and initiates. Kev, you want to reflect?
Hang on one sec. I've got to have a drink.
I'm going to get the link and put that in the chat room. That's not going to help Alan. He's up north in Scotland, but for UK,
They're basically saying,
yeah,
the raping of persons will not stop for anything, not even a supposedly deadly virus. That's exactly what that
we
says.
need to know if anyone's up north. What district of the northern Hebrides are you, Alan? And we'll catch up later when I work down and continue to say, Stephen.
Where is he? Is he even on the mainland?
Yeah, Lisa, Ewok. Yeah, you've said, haven't you? Keith, Jesus is in. Andy of the Greg's clan. G Star is also found us. What? Snafu, easy now. You need to go blue. That's been too long. I'm finally at my laptop. Let's get you blued up, Snafu. You want to speak, Kev? Say hello to anyone.
Yeah. Lisa. I think I was at Atom. Chris, I mentioned. Jesus. How are you? Andy, mate. How you doing? Good to see you. G-Star. Hello, mate. Haven't seen you in here for a while. Hope everything's all right with you, mate. Snafu. Jerry. Here he is. Cayman, just running through here. I think. Oh, Fly's popped in there. Hello, mate. How are you doing? You locked down? Good man. Ain't you been out sneaking around? Stealing underwear off the washing lines again because the weather's nice. Get in trouble for that again. Dave, Paul, hello. How are you? Quinn.
I see Fly and Heidi.
Anders. Good evening. Here we are. That is you. Right. Now, has anybody said anything interesting?
They're all just saying what, hello,
Yeah,
fist
yeah.
bumps. Yeah. Let's see.
Sounds a bit windy where Lisa is. 40 mile an hour. Nice. They're keeping the temperature down, is it?
Anders, I saw Anders. We missed him. There he is. Much love
Yeah, I
to you
did
all.
see him. I did give him a shout. Saw he come in towards the... There he is. I've got him again.
So, has anyone got anything they'd like to discuss, a concern, a story that they may have seen, data, videos, links? I've seen somebody there said someone's been blowing somebody's mind with. I will check that. But yeah, we'd like some of your input. Andy, we'll look at somebody to, when you say support in court and witnesses and things like that, you mean, yeah, we are some hundreds of miles away, and I'm not proficient with any of the Scottish anything at all. So Robert Sproul up your way, I don't know what he does. John Smith's up that way, I don't know where Stephen of the McRae clan is. Many Scottish mans, I don't know where they are. Yeah, and if they're available. Other than that, it's just the sovereign initiate scribes from this chan that may be around you. There's no way and no reason and no point me coming up other than for morality. and under these conditions of late, yes, it would be difficult to say the least. Kev is somewhat, mobility is an issue, so yeah, we got to be practical. So we'll work on that, brother. We'll remember to see what we can do. Fly, what you saying? Fly's asking, am I still dead at sea then? Am I to take it? If you need to ask, bless him.
Only if you want to be.
Jerry's let him know. It's all right. G-Man
It's a
sorted
choice.
him out.
Oh, excuse me. I missed my mouth. Unbelievably.
Naughty Beaver, there we go. I've asked if anyone has followed YouTube. Naughty Beaver, here we go. Yeah, 43 hours long. Oh, 4 hours long, yeah. All right, yeah, it's all good to get channels and links, names, who you've got. I've posted quite a bit update-wise and some video links. I'll go through the history, actually, whilst we're here and get you some from me. Not that they're particularly outstanding, but they are of interest, and I have posted them elsewhere, so yeah. Kev, birth certificates. So we was looking at. I haven't so much. I've yet to, but I've got the rough gist of things. And it turns out on one of the videos that I'm going to post, and some of the documents I've seen on the .com and that I've had linked and found the PDFs on the .gov. Recent emergency legislation, Britain Anglo is allegedly saying that there are new powers initiated. I'm not going to go through them all now. You can type what you know of, if you know of any. The rest are to be found via the .gov UK and discussion forums such as this and others that we've got, public, private. If they allege you might be, then in that case they will take. I'll just put it nice, in a roundabout way. If they think there may be a danger and a harm, and it's bacterial, disease, viral related, then they can use their powers. That's what these emergency powers are for. This. And then, Kev, you can take over with the bit that you told me about the certificate, which was news to me today. Thank you, brother.
Right, now, let me just... So, I didn't... I don't know if I don't know if I posted this. Anyway, just bear with me, people, because I should have a screenshot of it, which is there, and I shall read to you what it says. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's not good. I put my glasses on. Right. Okay. Now, this is the National Vital Statistics System, guidance for certifying COVID-19 deaths, March the 4th, 2020. It says they're receiving questions about deaths, blah, blah, blah. It are now highlighted here. It is important to emphasise that coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 should be reported on the death certificate for all decedents where the disease caused or is assumed to have caused or contributed to death. Assumed to have caused is a very dangerous wording, as I hope you can all appreciate. Then there's a sort of a copy of a certificate filled out, and then at the bottom, I've not read this bit, so I'll just read it out now. It's also highlighted. It says the improving cause of death reporting online training module or something like that's been highlighted. But I can post that in the group on Facebook if you like, for anybody to have a look at. It's just interesting.
I'm gonna post a link.
Assumed to be.
I'm gonna post a link in for the corona. I've just put you 3 links in so far. One at the beginning and then 2
Did
now.
I sent you that picture, didn't I?
I put you 1 at the beginning and then 2 links now. They were just for videos of interest to watch with like initiate sovereigns chatting and doing what's what. And then this one is the link for the coronavirus bill. That's one of the things of interest. You did send me that picture, but I couldn't read it. It was a bit blurry, Kev.
Yeah, well, I say it's all right on my phone. You must have a shit phone.
Yeah.
No, it'd probably be better if you don't get on the laptop, possibly. But I can read it on my phone, but it's not the best shot. But interesting.
I've got a better link than that, but that's a rubbish link, to be fair. I put in UK death certificates. I'm not looking for the coronavirus and everything. I'm looking for the changes and corrections for England and Wales coronavirus death and how they would manage that from the gov. I'm looking for, but we'll get it. It's harrowing because of the estates and the claims and the things that are made there. So you could also be taken away and then disappear, I suppose, in emergency.
Well,
such and assumed to have.
You've assumed to have died of that, aren't you?
Is that me being paranoid, or is that reading into reality and what could actually happen?
It's like, how can a policeman apparently now have the power to suspect you of being ill? If he suspects you of being ill,
I'm a smoker. I know. I cough anyway, as Kev says, as we've all heard.
Yeah, I fucking COPD, asthma all my life. My lungs are buggered.
I'm innocent, and I'm a clean man.
Yeah, jump on.
Yeah.
Mate,
You need to go to this military installation and be cleaned up. You do. Come on, come with us. We'll get you clean. No, I can't find it. I need more time. So, and that was Also in Italy, they said that I heard on the grapevine, and then it was released Euro News and other news, not so much on the main here, that they've simplified the death certification process. And I just thought, oh, that's like what? How do you simplify it? How much simpler does it need to be? There's an offer. I'm not being horrible with the passing. I'm saying with the administration side, somebody lets somebody know someone's no longer of the realm, and the offices close down the files. It's simplifying it, meaning what? That they can put an X on the system to say John Smith's no longer here. And then what? It's just the other government. So it's a simplification of the certification and burial, I'd imagine. The practicality. I'm hearing what you're saying. It would be the simplification of how to manage the high volume of numbers and what to do. But then my brain just thought of, well, what about the bonds and the paperwork? Because if you've seen the Da Vinci Code with where the bit where they shoot the concierge with that monk who's got blonde hair, and they're in a back alley, and the monk shoots him by accident. He calls him Silas. His name is it? And he comes around the corner, and then he goes Silas, and Silas thinks, and he shoots, and then he drops his case, and there's all these bonds. And in the film, the prediction, I know it's fictional, it's not based on reality, but isn't it? No, not strictly, but loosely, yes. I'd argue. And the bonds there on the floor is what I was going to say. And the man caught with them, in his bag doing the business. The Da Vinci Code, yeah. So the cryptex. Anybody know what a cryptex is? That tube with the vinegar in. And that was a nice idea, weren't it? And he ends up getting it out. It was apple. I like that. There was a nice twist to that overall. Unlike the Queen's addressing back to the track. Poor, no emotion, no love. It kind of could have been an AI there, to be fair. I don't know if that was the Queen. It looked like her, very still for a 93-year-old. I shake more than that lady. Go back, and I'm not saying you need to, but just look at the steadiness. And think she's 93. The skin, the complexion. She's been through the worst year probably imaginable since Diana, I'd argue, of 97ish.
They just melted one of them new sex dolls, mate, on the market. Just melted one up a bit, stuck a grey wig on it. Popped it in the chair. That's what that was.
Put some animatronics and.
Yeah, but it was. But they just thought, don't want to make a new one. Just use one of these sex doll ones out the shop.
And moving on, given the lack of emotion due to the melted projection that he's put there for us, and the shortness of it, and the gravitas of where we're all at, and you're right there. It was a wipeout in a way.
She didn't look well. She didn't need to be coming on there for no point. There was no reason, was there?
No,
really. I mean, I'd have been happy. She come on and said, "I got to tell you, Phil's dead." Phil go, "Yay!" Something like that. But she didn't.
Important
Sort of spoiled
question,
it for me.
though. Sorry to butt in, but I want to ask Sweden. Apparently, Sweden's dealing with the coronavirus differently, and everybody's carrying
Oh
on.
yeah,
And we've got Anders in the house, haven't we? So we can ask
Anders,
him. Is this
why
right?
aren't you dead?
What have we heard?
Why haven't you died from coronavirus
He's-
yet, Anders? We want to know. We demand answers.
He's wearing the Gans, man. He's gansed up. He's the
He's
origins.
gansed up. That's what it is.
He's gansed
Everybody
up.
else is fucked. Anders is all right.
He's in Sweden, and I've heard that Sweden are handling the lockdown situation and the whole. Well, they're going to show up the rest of the realm in a way, aren't they? If they don't follow the international guidelines for. This is not an attack at Anders' room or fam scribes. It's just I heard Sweden are being a bit more tactical than anybody else, if I may put it like that.
No, what you mean is Sweden are being chilled about it and not losing their shit.
Something like they are. That's another way.
They're going, numbers, look at the numbers. Okay, let's not sweat about it.
Yeah.
Fair play. Anders, mate, I've got a necklace on and I've got a bracelet on. I'm double gansed, mate. Thank you very much.
Looking, yeah, I've got more Gans and more remaining here to send out, and I've sent I think 5 or 7 now. One over to Alaska, I believe, as well for Sister Lisa, and up to Nonna, you, G Star, and another guy on here, Eric, and a couple more NWO that came on Linden. Other one, and I've got more to send emails to answer and send with addresses now, so it's working well. We've got agreements and information sent. It's not for ingesting at all. Everybody knows that it's not harmful. I've cut some tops off carrots and parsnips and onions as I'm making meals and vegetables, and I'm showing Yanka that when I was little, remember when you used to do the cress and stuff when you first started to get growing and that, when your mum started, or school, whichever, and the carrots and parsnips are sprouting the green shoots and shoots from them, and onions. So, it's recycling it. I've put them in with Gans water though, and the more to the point, to see if it does not mixed. The Gans is separate always, and it never leaves that receptacle, but it goes in another receptacle jug, 5 litre, with water in. So it radiates through. It never ever will I ingest it, because I'm not that confident. No insult, Anders, to the Gans, but I'm not that confident. The water may be, but not the Gans. Definitely, the Gans water is apparently the 1 cup 1 life video that contravened YouTube's guidelines. Here we go. Title of this video: Sidelined by Guidelines. We put up Dr. Keshe and wanted to have a chat about him. Not about the tickets he may or may not have sold to go to the moon, but the video of the 1 cup 1 life, and it was deleted. So there was a video, I think, from Max Egan. I think the Crow House, and it was an Australian big lad telling you about why you cannot and will not ever catch the coronavirus. And I've put that on the .com and Facebook, and I've seen comments to the effect of been deleted. Yeah. And I've gone back, and the truth, as Mulder put it, is out there. Well, it was Mulder, David Duchovny, and now it's been deleted, fam. Back in the day it was out there, but now you know what? It's been rewritten, bombed, and deleted.
I saved one the other day. I must go and check it.
It's gone.
Forgot it. We'll put it back up again.
Yeah, that's why we download them and keep them. But that man was speaking truth about his knowledge. He said, I don't know if he'd done that, but you can always check. When someone comes on a video and blurts a load of rubbish, if you believe it, you're an idiot, because there's mistakes are made, and people are crafty and quite evil to some extent, trickery and what mixture of all. So you go and check everything. You don't act on just faith alone. It's very seldom does man act on faith alone, except in certain unique situations, like of personal things, love or whatever, but intuitive, that language there. But other than that, yes, so I just thought I'd bring that up as well.
Yeah, Anders is saying it's chilled there. Yeah, too right. It is. No panic, mate. This is nonsense going on over here. Absolute nonsense. Ridiculous. None of it makes any sense. Here's another point, just as we're sort of on nonsense. So they're talking about handing out these fines and that. Well, don't take them. You don't know if that person giving you that fine's infected or not. And they're telling us they want to get rid of cash. We're not allowed to be handling cash because it's dirty. So don't handle the paperwork. Simple, isn't it?
I think I found Naughty Beaver.
Was that a deadly weapon? Are you trying to assault me?
Yeah.
It's a deadly weapon.
Potential future harm.
Yeah. Right there, I cannot accept any paperwork from you unless you can prove to me that you're not infectious.
That looks like the link for the Red Beaver channel. Naughty Beaver, Red Beaver, Naughty Beaver. I've presumably.
Yeah, thanks for that, Paul.
43,000.
I have heard of it.
43,200 subscribers. It's got a picture of a beaver on the channel. Is that the right one? It looks like it could be. First time I've seen it. All right. Have you been on it before, Kev?
I do recall the name, but I go, as you know, there's lots of stuff, so I might have come across it, but it's not something I recall regularly visiting. I'll be honest, but I will go and have a look.
Nice one, thanks, Paul. Thanks, Kev.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. No worries.
Lisa's got the emails. Nice one. Yes, I have put in red letters. I didn't capitalise them. I won't get that far, but I said do not drink. Can be drunk, but not yet. We're going to test it. It's just for wearing only.
That's what I needed. I need to get my head around a bit more what to do with that.
I'm putting in water, plants, like I'm testing plants out with it. Ganders. We could call him Ganders. Ganders.
Ganders. There you go.
He's been doing all sorts with it. He's got lots of data. I've put it on the .com in forums, and I'll resist from Facebook with the fact checkers and all of that. I can't be arsed with it. That's why I left. I could see what was coming, and further, what would we sensor shipping, more boats coming in to come and play. Zuckerberg and the fam need to make sure they control that mass area of data mining exactly how they want it, not as you've seen it change over the years, and so the sense of shipping of fact checking, I'll stick to here as long as this one lasts, not much longer I think, and the .com and wherever else, bro and sisters.
Sweet. Anders is saying that the government wants to take control here. They're using crisis. What bloody crisis? For God's sake, people. Crisis. So on the strength of this, then now every year the country's going to shut down in flu season. Everything stops because the numbers are far higher. Why don't we do it for people that die of cancer? We won't be working a lot every year, will we? Be off a lot. It's ridiculous. I just don't get it. And all the shit. I can't wait till Wednesday when they all come out banging their fucking pots. Fucking robots.
You look a bit bitter today. You all right, Kev? What's happened to you?
Oh, I'm not bitter. It's just ridiculous. It's sad.
Very bitter.
What I'm living amongst children of the fucking corn.
Lock up. Is it lockdown for everybody? How is everybody else coping with everything? How are we finding ways to manage the symptomatic problems that we're having? Are you in the garden? Are you reading? Are you being constructive? Are you getting a bit of sun? Exercising, gyms, bikes, animals, dogs. The poor pooches must be thinking, hang on, no one's been out in ages. What's going on? We're all living together now, and the furry kids, they're normally on the sofa at this time. What's going on? They've been here having a chat like when all the family's asleep. The poor animals were like, is it just me or is things a bit weird? Yeah, what is it? I can't quite put my finger on it. These lot, they don't go. They've been here ages. What's it? I can just see. I know animals don't talk, but they do in a way. They talk to each other. They know what go on, don't they? It's just brilliant, the times in the way, and the stars and the planets and the things we've got to discuss later, not tonight. It's just a casual one. It's brilliant. It really is. The quandaries.
Anders.
What's that?
Sorry, Dave. Didn't mean to speak over you, mate.
That's good. Go on.
Anders just said get his contact details from you, and he'll let me know about the war. Dave has mentioned it to me. I did ask Dave about it, but
I've
to be
got the
honest with you,
information from Anders, and then it's gone from Anders straight into the forums on the .com. Both Kevin and Anders are on the .com, and then the rest comes out through here and through. Anders has got a site. I think, I don't know if it's got information, or you search for Keshe and Gans, and then come to us to double check what you find. Do your due diligence and learn yourself, and then come back to double check. Not that we're masters. Anders is the master. He's got a horror master with that there and the academic training of atomic sciences. I have not, so it'd be Anders and a horror master, your true masters, and I am but a Padawan.
Yeah, mate, you're right there, mushroom.
Yeah, what they are is mushrooming. Hello.
He says, yeah, it's not the world I want to get off.
Oh, wow.
You're not on it, really.
Hello, Quinn. I didn't know if I shouted you out earlier. What?
Yeah, I did see him. Did mention Quinn earlier. It's good to see everybody. Good interaction going on.
What video are we watching, Chippy Paul? Which video are we going to watch on Naughty Beaver? I'm up for a challenge. Challenge accepted. Tell me the video title that you want. You're desperate for others to watch. I know that feeling, and I'd like to join you and get back and review it. And there's nothing better than the meeting. If we could all, we've all got time. I see he's Gray. Is he in Gray? Is he a new scribe? So he's introduced himself as Chippy Paul, and he's saying he wants to have a chat, and we like to chat. You've come to the right place. Give us a video, and then we'll come back here and we'll.
You may live to regret that.
I'm going. I'm not playing.
I'm leaving. Don't like it. Yeah. It's the war in space. Paul's put in there, Dave.
All right, thank you.
Cleveland, good eventide.
Sanders. Ganders it was, I believe, but why Sanders? Sanders hasn't got the G. The G is the 7. It's a good number. Gans, Ganders, Gans.
Shouldn't it be Ganders ending with a double S?
I'm a bit worried he's trying to feminise himself as well.
The solid state. Ending double S for the solid state.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you got to spell that.
Is Sanders a lady, or is that just Sandy? Would Sanders be a man or a woman there?
Well, it could be either. I used to work with a guy called Sandy, and I've been Sandy with some women in my time.
Ask what's this, Kevin?
That's a lie.
Steady that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, well, good. I'm just checking up the room there. So I'll send further emails out. We're back on form tomorrow. I've taken a bit of a slack day myself today. Headache. Nothing wrong with me. Just I think the Zodiac. Believe me, there are some. Yesterday, I was telling Kev this when we didn't go live. I says, what happened yesterday? I was just out my peripheral vision. I saw a flash, and when you get in your peripheral vision, it can't focus, as you know, and it's blurry. But to get like a massive flash and to like, I looked and thought, what was that? And it faded. I saw it fading as I got it in my focus, and it was a little bit cloudy, just a light soupçon of fog, and then drizzling, yeah, and like a night just a light fogging, and I saw it again, and what it did, it lit up, and it was just like a slow, like a dimmer switch, up and then down, and I was like, oh, I see you now, and you're still in the straight line pattern, but I thought I'll mark it where that was with that star there, and as I marked it, I noticed that star had suddenly seemed to start moving of its own accord, and I thought stars don't move, that was already moving. That's another little weird thing. So I saw two weird things by accident out the corner of my eye, it began with, and I keep seeing these that were brought to me by brother Michael of the Barnes clan in a field in Oxford with a indigo laser pen, high power, and he was showing me that and telling me how he beckons. You see the blackness. I'm like, what do you mean you beckon the blackness? These weren't his words, but I'm creating. I was quite drunk at the time, or not drunk, but merry on God's green roots and tea and brew. And he says, yeah, you do this, and if there's out there, it will let you know. I went, shut up. And then he started doing it, and I went, you do realise we're very close to RAF something, was we, Kev? Military base somewhere around near
Yeah,
Oxford.
Oxford. Yeah, it's yeah. I can't even think of it.
I forget it now.
Yes, it'll
Yeah.
come to me, but yeah.
And so we did it for a
Rise
bit.
Norton, wasn't it?
RF
Rise
what?
Norton.
Norton? Yeah.
Rise Norton.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
Because we did have the Lancasters and Sovereign stealth for the air display. That
Jesus,
was
we had the stealth bombers, we had typhoons. It was wicked, wasn't it? Just rolling about. I don't know what was going on. I think they were just on a jolly. We were having the right time of it.
It was a sunny, clear day. We saw a lot of military, millions of pounds
Yeah,
worth of
stealth
stuff.
bombers, the big B ones.
Yeah, and there's us
Still
in
got
the
the
midnight.
videos of it.
There's us at midnight, checking these out, just round the corner from a base with that kind of capability, scanning technology, and yeah, so hilarious. I ended up investing in a laser, 30 something from Geek, on sale January time. I asked Anne Marie for an early Christmas present, and I was allowed to get a powerful laser from China. And comes with goggles, glasses. Will burn your retina. You will do damage with these. It is not funny,
Set your carpets on fire.
even if you don't have the glasses on and you're thinking you're pointing it away and it hits a reflective surface and it hits your partner, an animal, your daughter, your son, it will bounce off a mirror, a glass surface, and it will burn others' eyes. So even if you do think about wanting to experiment with hello to the night sky and the midnight darkness, then yeah, well done, crack on. But yes, there's that danger there. I'm not telling you to do anything, but I have said hello, and they say hello back. And I went and got the laser, and I had a little play because there are minimum to zero air traffic issues now, and we have got lots of time on our hands. And I had a little play, and I think there was a neighbour out, and I'm not sure about the safetiness of it all. So I stopped, but I was gutted. I was on for it the other night, and there was two in one place, which is a rarity, and they were all like singing and dancing and Barnsley, what have you started here? I'll share it with the realm. Others report when we're on weird stuff that you see. I can't explain it. To be fair, it's very interesting to say the least.
Boy, am I grey. I'm grey as well, Paul, actually.
I want to see how these vegetables grow with the GANs, so rooting and yeah, I haven't ingested the water. I see Anders says you can drink the water charged up by the GANs, but anybody that's got a test tube that's in that 7 that have got some, you will see that if you shake it, it will go like a milky, mint greeny, milky, milkshaky mint green. Best way I can describe it, liquid colour. And if you leave it with the capped side, like, and stand it up over a couple of minutes, it will separate and the water goes to the top, and the GANs will sit down at the bottom. So you can just shake that or inject, like with an ink refill printer. I've put all this in an email, and I'm just letting others know the potential of it. You can then take that liquid out, put that into pipes or airtight, watertight containers, and put them GANs filled water, airtight containers around your neck into other water to charge up round your guinea pig. Here, bless her, Squeaky. She's got silver water out of copper receptacles, distilled. She's got some nice bits of organic veg now and again. And she gets dry food, she's not 100%, but then with the water, and then I put a GANs thing around a little plastic pipette feeder thing. And the other day, Yanka and I were just like messing, trying to get her nails and sort her out, and she jumps and spins like you've never known. I wouldn't think anything like that could ever move as agile. It's just surprising, isn't it? So yeah, all of us are really good. Even the guinea pig, and the vegetables are growing. And I would like to know if anybody knows anybody that's drank any. Yeah, that's all I'll say. I wouldn't advise it. Anders,
What the
yeah,
neat stuff?
Anders will have to come on camera and do a video.
Anders
Yeah,
said, don't have it neat." He said back a little bit. If that's what
yeah,
you're
the
talking
Gans.
about, or I've got the wrong end of the stick.
Yeah, that's it because it separates. It's water and it's Gans in those test tubes. So in the bracelets is the same. So you can separate it. If you make it, it will be made and it will be made separated as well. So then you can take the water and there's also amino acids. Listen, amino acids in the process from what I've learned. I've never made it, but from what I asked a Hoarder master before we went live on that video and what I've learned and looked at algae type bacteria, but it's amino acids with proteins. So there's actually a form of food, in essence, bare essence, as you know, weightlifters and bodybuilders and ones that are into what's the word now, biology will know about the acids and proteins and what muscles and how it works there. And so you've got a product of the molecular atomic balanced stuff there, and then you've got on the top GANs is the balanced molecular stuff, and then you've got on the top the water with the top bit oily type different GANs as well. Remember, not just CO2, the copper, zinc, and different ones. Different. I can't give you all, but yeah, it's amazing to be fair. That then brings me to Baghdad batteries with the 5 volt rough. And when I say Baghdad, they've got another nickname as well, but the batteries with the alleged current from the deserts. Maybe they were using them small volts to make the GANs to. It's just incredible what we're finding out
Who
of
knows?
late. Yeah.
And this says, that he sees, are you in top chat or live chat, mate? You've been thrown out of the room, come back in, maybe go out, come back in again, mate, if you're having problems. Just a suggestion.
Came on, why you mate joined by answering? Is someone having a joke? I like that though. Stephen, Anthony, is Stephen there, isn't it? But what's going on? Let's just scan the room a minute.
Yeah. Where are you?
Quinn, Atlas Comet, it's at the bottom. I'm at the bottom area.
Quinn.
And Anders.
Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah. I thought I read somewhere that hadn't it just split. Quinn, you probably correct me on that. Pretty big though, isn't it? Apparently. I'll go all the way to the bottom of the screen now and see if Quinn answers me.
I'm going to blew up Cleveland and Chippy. They've been here a time and they are regulars and
Yeah.
well behaved. There we go. I blew them up and there you go. That's answered that one. Well noted, Chippy.
Passover was cancelled because of coronavirus.
Oh, came on. So that's what that comment was for. Then I like it. But
He's had a little interaction with the DCA.
There we go. Yeah.
Fair play to him. He said to him how dare he threatened to come round during this time. Put the phone down on them.
Respect. Well done, came on. That's right. And so right, yeah.
You're right. How dare you put me at risk? Jog on. Film them if they come to the door through a window. Don't even speak to them. Speak to them, do it through the window. Tell them to jog on. How dare they turn up, put you at risk?
All
They got any certificates to show that they're not infected?
Yeah, at least he's got them ringing up though to all visitors seen strictly by appointment, and I dare say he's defended the castle and he knows what's what. So it's as and when.
Can't you block them?
The magistrates,
number.
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, you can do that. Or IDs and blockers, and they just get many other ones as well. Though I haven't done that.
Yeah, but if you don't know the number, just don't answer it. If it's important, I'll leave a message. It's simple as that. It's what I've always done. If I don't number, or especially if the number's withheld, no chance. No chance.
What I've told
That
you about the
important.
magistrates, and now that report there says carry on, until instructed otherwise. And it did say before court staff, defendants. It classed you as you, us, them, our persons as
You're worth risking. You're worth
our
being infected.
our persons have been instructed not only by the Prime Minister recently and the Queens and whatever by proxy of, but now we've also got the such as their QCMP saying what carry on everybody to all defendants and subjects. We've been ordered and told stay in. But don't stay in if you need to go to work, and don't stay in if you need to go to court. But stay in.
But yeah, don't go anywhere.
It's such a freaking nightmare. Don't go anywhere, but if you need to go to work and you can't work from home, then go to work. You can go out for shopping. It's proper bad though. Don't really. It's really bad. Fucking you having a laugh? Come on now, he's
We'll
having
give
a
you a
cheap
fine
laugh.
if you go out. Fucking hell. Quinn, thanks, mate. I'll tell you what. It might have been that I glanced at something that said it might have said possibly going to split, and I just took the possibly going to out of it. That's a real possibility that happened. But thanks for that, mate. Be nice to see something like that, especially now I've got the P1000.
Yeah, baby.
Which
Jerry?
I'm just waiting. There's a nice conjunction with Venus some point this week, isn't there, with the moon and everything? I do believe.
Jerry said, and I believe yes, there is. I couldn't confirm that or deny it, but it sounds about right, my man. What I said to you about Boris with the pop up, then going in to be hospitalised. G-Man has also put that saying a comment about Boris hospitalised that. So that puts that in. It was accurate. Then Boris has gone into
Coma, hopefully. Sorry, I was going to say that out now.
He's gone into go and use a ventilator probably.
He's going to get some adrenochrome. That's what's going on there. They've got a clean batch. He'll come out looking all sparkly and bright, not like the rough old stickies of the last few days. In and out. It didn't work. It didn't work. Nobody believed it. You're going to have to go in. You're going to have to stay in for longer. Let's try again.
Lots of speculation. But we'll see. We will see. I give up with it. My thoughts.
I've got to have a drink of it then. Fancy some of that. Do a bit of plasma in.
That's all right. I caught up.
No, you've got Geneva Convention and the Nuremberg Code. They can't. You've also got the BMA stuff. Can't be overridden. They can't break your skin. You just got to know your rights. Otherwise, you ain't got none. But no, just under that, doesn't matter. Even if we were at wartime, Geneva and Nuremberg Code covers us on those very issues. People, let me say, stand up for your right.
If you don't feel sad, then this is a link for a tiger named Nadia tests positive, allegedly, so they're saying on the Daily Fail, for coronavirus at the Bronx Zoo after she's developed a dry cough. They're going for the sympathy angle now, look, with this tiger. Wow, so even going through the animal kingdom is what the mail is. It's like you don't need enough to worry about. Breaking news is that the tiger named X is nobody's safe. Sorry.
We're all gonna die.
Look at this cute cat. It could kill you, but it's actually being killed by an invisible virus.
It's got a nasty cold. Feel sorry for it and send us money. A corona tax is now being levied upon each household. Yes, Quinn, you're right. I don't keep an eye on it a lot, but I have just recently noticed a few more bits and pieces. So sort of interested in that sort of thing. Just the trouble is, I've got so many other bloody things going on all the time. It's hard to get the time to focus in on one thing. To be honest, I don't know how Dave does it with all his fucking 97 subjects that he just fucking amazing knowledge of.
Oh, thank you to you for saying that, and thank you for somebody that said been following the site for years or whatever. Then that's nice to know. Long time listener, not a first time caller, but long time listeners are always good to know of. And I have because of DJing, when you go out and you are serious about being a number one, even though you're not getting paid number one DJ money, when you're not at a number one club in Ibiza and you're not, X, Y, and Z, when you just go out to have fun, but you want to be one of the best in the game, then yeah, I knew records, and people will always just say, God Lord Dave, how did you should have forgotten that by now. And no, acid, rare things. And I thought just when I met Daniel Bostock and not met him, but chatting to him, and then he dusted me and didn't want to know, not horribly, but it was just like, well, there was an out to come in some ways and respect, so I had to go my own way, acquiescence and estoppel. So yeah, it's because of I was able to catalogue, and with DJs, you have a track, you have an artist, you have a mix, you have a length, you have a version. There's a lot of detail to some of these limited edition American import. When it was vinyl, before MP3, you really had to know which one of them vinyls to buy, which mix. When there was, say, that one, the Witch Doctor, Armand Van Helden, there was a specific mix that I wanted, the Witch Doctor. And it was a really deep tribal, like back in the mid-90s. And it was a 12-minute, and it had it built up with if you'd like to go and search anybody for Armand Van Helden, the Witch Doctor, I forget the mix, about 12-minute. Kev's already reliving it as we speak. It was, how good was that? That was just one of the, at the time, a guy
back
called...
on the pill.
Yeah?
Back on the pill.
A guy called Gerald, Voodoo Ray, and
Voodoo
then
Ray,
you could sneak in. And so if you've got the wrong mixes and you paid like £18, £15 American imports, what was it, Strictly Rhythm or something, then they weren't cheap, and you were gutted. You were like, I've got to go and you can't take it back, because they didn't do that in DJ shop. They'd say, buy another one, kid. Get the right mix.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, check. It's the right mix you want.
Excuse me, mister, I bought the wrong thing. It's embarrassing as well. Like, you don't know what you're buying.
Oh, but now when it's digital, you just go, oh look, there's 36 mixes of it for £6. I'll have that.
Yeah, so that's why I learned quick.
Or you pay 83p or whatever. You know what I mean?
That's next to now, isn't it?
Brilliant. It's brilliant. But I've been hitting them just recent. Because of my recent purchases, I'll been spending some money on that, but not, but you get a lot for your money.
You do, yeah, compared to what you used to get. And and imagine when Radio 1 used to go on tour with like Tony Crabtree or whatever it was back in the day. I forget the names of them now. And the records, they used to carry vinyls on a megabus or whatever and go around onto, God Lord, that must have been some uprated, suspension brakes and that. I'd like to see the unit used to carry them, in the 80s, the roadshow with whoever it was. I can't even think of any names, but there you go. Just the fact the technology.
All of them did it, didn't it? But yeah, I mean, all that vinyl being carried about.
In the heat, having to cool it.
Oh my, yeah.
Warped
Nowadays,
vinyls.
5,000 tracks in your pocket, easy.
Oh, that's right. That is right. And DJs mixing.
It gets a bit more expensive depends what files you buy. MP3s are about, say, anywhere between 80p and 116. Flats got to about 166.
Cheap as chips. Cheap as chips.
But still cheap.
If you don't like DJing,
you wouldn't buy it on vinyl for that, would you?
No, not at all. But what I'm going to say here is that to include everybody, if you don't happen to collect music and songs and whatnot, you like probably football or a sport. So in which case, you have done the same without knowing, because all of these Saturday weekend chats that I've been privy to for the last 30 years of my life, I could not remember all of them men, their agility, their positions, what they play. But my mates can. I didn't give a rat's ass about football and kicking a half blown up pig's bladder and half naked men around a field. It never interested me. Engines, petrol, death, danger, motorbikes, weapons, guns, lasers, peg guns, things like this. It just that's how I was. And football,
Yeah.
no, computer games for me, and girls. I think not that footballers don't like girls, but they do hang around with boys a lot and talk and play football and go and they did do a lot of footbally things on the field and it was just forever. And I couldn't remember that amount of details to do with other teams and their players and all of that and the monies and what you remember is just as equal as what we've done. So when people say, "Oh, I can't do that," but yet you're an expert on something, then therefore you've got that ability, haven't you?
Indeed, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve said he took a little drive into Knightsbridge behind Harrods this morning, 7:30. It's a ghost town. Specials. Do you remember the good old days before the ghost town? 10 million people locked up. Yeah.
It's another fine mess you've gone and got us into this time, Phillips.
I'm sorry.
Event 201. What? Shh. Alexa, we had a video posted in the group. We can talk. Go on, let's go. Go on after. I'll let you go. That was funny.
Well, yes. I mean, you just got to go and Google it or whatever you want yourself. Go it.
YouTube, it's on here. It's on Tube.
Yeah, it's here on the tubes everywhere. Event 201. What more do you want?
No, we had a video posted saying, man says to Alexa, did the government make the coronavirus? And it shuts off, and then it comes back on, doesn't it? And answers with the data from the top Google search for 201 event 201. Jesus was an event. Man isn't registered. It's an event. And now you've got the other third, a favourite of my events, other than Jesus and man's registration. Not that man is registered. It's now been turned into an event because that's what it actually is. And here we've got event 201, which adds up to 3. That's a number that's been hounding me. And then Alexa reads that and goes, yes, you should have let us know. It was just an exercise. I saw a YouTube clip with that Podesta man and Trumpy. It was just an exercise. It's not real. Should have let us know. I'm like, it's all just madness out there at the minute. I want to get off the world as well, whoever said that earlier. I actually do. Can I come with you?
It's all just step off for a while.
Event 201, fill your boots with that, fact checkers. That's what we said on that one, didn't we? There's a star in the Labour House now. We've got Kia star something. Star, it doesn't matter. It's got, yeah, look at, no, it's not that, but it's close, isn't it? Star bar, star, raw, star, I forget. But Kevin put some rather concise. Again, over to you, and I put in a comment on the realm of face-fed fuckers. Fact-checked, all good, so they can't delete it because it is real, and it's quite stark, the privy position of which this man's had. Kia is kind of like leapfrogged himself from that to this one to go with all his expertise now because he's... where's he been, Kev? What's he done, mate? Glove.
Dirty, filthy man. Yeah, Dave fact-checked me. I was laughing with that about it. Look, he's even fact-checked me, look. I was laughing. It was funny. And I thought, no, good. But yeah, when I backed it up, so that was funny. I made some comment. But anyway, yes, well, when he was given, he was head of CPS or whatever it was at the time when
prosecution.
Prosecution,
yeah, we know it. Prosecution, it was.
Savile stuff was first. 4 cases brought, and he was the one that ultimately made the decision for it not to be investigated as lack of evidence. But obviously, that same stuff then came up just a few years later, along with about 496 other cases. So there you have it. That's who's now in charge of the Communist Party.
The Labour Party. Communist, you said there, Kev.
Oh, sorry, I meant the Labour Party.
Slip of the tongue. Faux pas, mate. Faux pas. So you had Bex Bailey that was
The
open.
Democratic Socialist Party, like that's going to make any difference. It's just an oxymoron if ever I've heard one. Democratic Socialism. Anyway, no, let's not go there. Breathe, Kevin, breathe. Breathe it all away. Think of kittens and beaches, sunshine. All right, I'm back in the room.
Bex Bailey was kittens and beaches. I'm not even going to ask. Moving on.
That's what I said. It was my calming thoughts. I was calming myself for the moment I just had.
You'd like it where my mum is, because on Cos, my mum has adopted three or four. I think one got injured and never made it back. Has passed away. So we got three feral cats that are now my mum's, and they come in, live with her, and when she literally has to cross the road and she's on the beach, literally it's that far, and it's beautiful. She's very lucky. It's a little Greek island though. It's not anywhere like millions of. It's just a quaint little bespoke, quiet, simple life. And she crosses the road. She's on the beach, and the cats, they followed me. Because they just got to know me on the first day, and they're very friendly, and they're like, they think food all the time. So they followed me, think, what's he doing? He's going to where mum goes, because that's the mum, and that's her beach effectively across the road, as it would be anybody's that lived there. And she didn't tell me this, and I'm like on the beach, and there's about 20 of them. Oh, it's a small little covey bit, it's not massive. And the tide's up, so there's not much of the beach there. And so, oh wow! And I just heard this meowing, and I'm like, the cats have come on the beach. I was so embarrassed, and everyone was laughing. And one of them started to do a little, present laying exercise. I was like, oh, they're not even mine. I'm a visitor. These are all tourists, and they're laughing at me. And I'm like, it was just a very unique situation. You would have liked that. I would now know, Cav. Come here, Phillips. Hide these cats.
I love all animals, as you know. That's why they allow me to have some room in their house. As long as I stay in my place, it's all good. Yeah, just Cleveland's just putting there about Bill Gates. He's loving it. Yeah, who made him a fucking medical expert all of a sudden? King of the world prick he is.
Yeah, like Tony Blair's allowed to chat as well, and he's a war criminal. That's
what's going on? Why are we listening to these twats? Bill Gates comes along. Somebody's got it. Can anybody get me one of them Barrett sniper rifles?
Jill Gates, I thought he was. No harm to any man. Yeah, Jill Gates, I thought we was calling him now.
Well, maybe. Who knows, Dave? In this topsy-turvy world. Fucking hell. What's happening?
So that, I was going to say with this guy, Kia, the ones that were in the running for it, you see why you didn't get it now, because Kia's been rewarded for his hard work, I'd say. Here you go. Here's a princely position of which you can profit from. Non-profit, wow. I think I'm not saying this is fact. My opinion, I'm allowed an opinion, locally embedded agents. And what my opinion is, man's been rewarded for doing a job there. A bit like who they knighted at Christmas for doing a job that shouldn't have been knighted. Was it a knighthood? Have I got that right? Yeah, Christmas. There was a bit of an outrage at a certain man getting a royal ordinance in some form. I won't say his name because it'll probably make people angry again. But
I can't even think of his name.
Good job. But this man's been rewarded. Doesn't matter. We're on with Kia Labour Party, Communist, Socialist, wangled, fangled.
Democratic weirdo.
Yeah, doesn't matter what it says on the tin. Yeah.
Straight back in the EU. Oh my god.
Not
the route yet. That's the next thing. Oh, here we go.
Due to the coronavirus, Brexit's been cancelled. So is Christmas. So is summer. So is Christmas.
Yeah, it's all gone. We already had the Queen's speech. Expecting Turkey, and that's the day that she was on.
It's all just wrong.
It's all fucked up. The whole world's gone tits. Backwards. The Queen's speech in fucking April.
Happy New Year the other day. Yeah, it is like Christmas. You said
it was
you who
told you.
Maybe next time, brothers and sisters, that leap will be the leap home.
Oh, dear. sidecar motocross. Fucking hell, sidecar's mental enough, you loon bag. Anders was saying he was into sidecar motocross.
Sadist, eh?
Oh, they wear a gum shield, didn't you? Keep your teeth.
And just to back stuff up, interesting fun fact that I find fun
Okay.
because
We'll be the judge of that.
yeah, well, yeah, you will be. You are. That's what I like about this place. Interesting fun fact. It's just tongue in cheek. It's random, but it is connected to the threads and who and what. Constantine. You know all about him now. You don't need to explain Constantine, the Roman emperor. That's as much as I'll give you. The rest you know, and you should have read, hopefully, the publications and others and scholars' work. He was, according to history and fact and the true. When we say history and fact, you know which history. I'm not on about the academic mainstream now. Anything but that. He was, according to research, a lifelong pagan. And he's who I'm bearing in mind who he is and what book he pioneered to write there. And he on his deathbed, guess what, everyone? He was then baptized right at the point of his terminal breaths. And he had so doesn't that make you think now? Fun fact. So when we talk like we do, it's because we know shit like that, and it disturbs us greatly.
Yeah. The last desperate grasp of redemption.
Yeah, it's not that we're just angry men that, and I know describe just anyone that's new or wonders why. How could you be not being disrespectful? They started the war first upon man and souls, and we're just having a crack with it like the nose.
Katniss, hello, how are you? He said, long time, no see back there.
Meow.
Meow. What one?
Pussycat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What guan, pussycat? Sorry.
What one?
I had a bit of Tom Jones in my head, like, because of Katniss. It just silently playing, and when he did that, I thought, let's do some bad man forward, bad man pull up then. Come on.
Complete nonsense. Coronavirus.
I don't see how anybody's been passing time, or that's because you've all been watching TV, haven't you? Or has anyone done anything constructive, nice, different, zany? Any weird hobbies? I'm always out for that one. Not too weird. Remember where we are. What have I said?
I haven't. I'm mostly staring at stuff on YouTube. A lot of music.
Yeah.
A lot of music recently. Getting expensive, that is. Anyway, but yeah, not really. We did watch some. I sort of watched some film on Netflix. And partly watched it, but we only put it on because it looked that bad that it wasn't something we had to concentrate on. If you know what I mean. No, we've just been chilling. It's just been nice to have company other than the cats and dogs. To actually get a response when I ask a question, it's been really nice.
Yeah.
The dogs look at me and go, Jesus Christ, here he goes again. Let's go upstairs, leave him on his own.
Positives that have come out of this fiasco are internationally, because we've got to honour those and recognise what's going off in boundaries and solidarity, camaraderie generally is going off, aside from what is normally facilitated through the usual covenants and governance of the UN and treaties and etc. They're picking up phones and they're chatting and they're tweeting and everything. It's that's a positive. Man and family, animals, all of it coming together there, having more time. That's a definite positive. Easter time, is it Palm Sunday? Sorry.
Palm Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, the palm, the lamps, the lambs, the palms. This is the Palm Sunday.
I remember it well, being a good Catholic boy.
He's admitted it on YouTube. There you go. That's an exclusive.
Was.
I know, brother. I know. And now you've got this period would be the 2 week Easter getaway roughly, and we're all locked up, and the sun's even come out to go. Look, no planes, clear sky. You lot are locked up. Easter time, New Year. You're all mixed up. What go on? And I've said, yeah, what go on? Help.
Mad, it's mad.
So there are positives.
So much going on at the moment in there.
Yeah, but there is positives, rest, bit of a lie-in. You've all had lies in. I know that. I have. Time with the fam.
You've
Yeah.
had days in, you have.
I would have been a cat Ness. I believe I would have been an Egyptian type feline back in the day. A lion, maybe even of the realms of India. Tiger, cat, pussy. I like that idea. And the lion wants a friend. The tiger, the big cat, the panther, whichever, cougar, all of them fascinate me. And the Lion of Judah is where I first, was like, Lion of Judah, hey, what's this symbology then? And they're very big and powerful. The thorn in the paw and the mouse episode. And I just thought, yeah, the lion wants a friend, but no one wants to be the lion's friend because it just gets angry. It can just tear you apart in a blink of an eye. It's not a nice friend to have, really. It's like the creator. He's an angry, vengeful creator. Okay, then. And you want me just to sign over my soul like that, like it's nothing. What, with an angry, vengeful creator? There's a video I've posted in this chat with the veteran from Australia talking about sovereignty and himself. And do you know what he said? He's about 60, 70. I'm not trying to insult the man, but you can't really tell. He's sat in an office. He looks well mature. I'll leave it there. Doesn't matter how old he is. He looks well mature. And he says things like, yes, we have a message. And if I don't bring this cosmic message to you, then I fear. His words were, and I've never said this to you. I've been nice about it and coy. He said, don't piss about and, mince round with the words. If I don't bring this cosmic message from the creator and divine such and such to you, then I fear for the repercussions and the whatever reprisals, and I fear for that more so than, whatever else. So I'm here to tell you. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of like what I tell you with the sacred contract, and others have said. I'm not the first, but it was nice to hear like a granddaddy come out and go, shit's getting real. I've had enough. Listen to this. I was like, wow, woohoo. Enjoy him. Enjoy it.
It is. Little, as I say, little 30-day free trial of communism, and see how we like it.
So,
personally, I've already cancelled my subscription.
I'd like to say no. I laughed. I enjoyed the comment, but I'd like to correct and say it's not. What it is if we lived in a system with the credits and the ways, if we had robots running things and we weren't all slaves. Here we go. I'll explain it simply. Robots running things. We weren't slaves. We didn't have to go to work because everything was done with AI and machinery and robots. Then this is what it would be like. If we had not been arrested with the technology and the combustion engines and the science and the medicines, we'd be living we'd be living till 150. We'd have double time. We'd have the carbon 60s and all of the sciences licked and done. We'd be hovering around, and I can only dream of, Sorry, everyone.
Hovering around, I like it. Fucking George Jetson.
But this is what it would be like. No stress. Cancer's gone, famine, all of that. A big man came on there telling him about. There wouldn't be none of that because everyone would have equal share. There'd be no coveting of, so to speak, if that's the right word. Yeah, greed.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah. Anders is shouting at you.
Yeah. To
plug Dan Henley, so you can do that.
You've just done it, that. Anders has done it. We'll do that. Plug Dan Henley. Plug him where? Is that some kind of code? Is that crypt talk or what? Yeah, plug? Is that some kind of... I don't know if I want to plug Dan Henley. Am I being set up here? What's going on?
Yeah.
I thought we were friends.
We know about your other contracts. We're just seeing if you sneak in and breach one. We're testing you to see if you're clearly under contract. You will not mention Dan Henley is from the 9/11 Pilot's website is coming on the show. I take it that's Anders' show.
No, me here. Anders has got a
friend. Oh, is he? Oh, okay. Well, thanks for telling me.
He's got a friend. He's found one.
Jeez, took Anders, see?
He's bought one.
Well, use me, mate. Anders had to tell me. And there's something wrong with our relationship, Dave. Always finding out from your friends.
We don't have relationships, no ships here, pal.
Oh, all right then.
You trickery. Anders has said he's got someone to come and have a chat with. Interesting. No, it wasn't. It was that. I'm thinking of. Wait, hang on. I'm thinking of Eric. Eric, we had a chat with, and Eric was going to bring his mate on, and I've just got Eric's mates that should have been coming on with you saying Anders and Dan from 9/11. No, I don't know what we're on about here. I'm lost with Anders and you. Let's go and see. David, you need to announce that Dan Henley from 9/11 Pilots website is coming up on show soon. Right, yeah, so you're right there. It must be Anders' show. I'm lost. Anders, more info. Calm down. Speak it slowly.
Oh.
You speak so slowly, please. So slowly.
I'm not speaking English. Italiano.
It's good when you don't know anything and you're abroad and you don't speak the lingo and you think,
Dave suddenly doesn't speak English.
I speak slowly. And it's like, doesn't go through. Or if you're in Spain, you add an O on to every word and you think that will, no, it doesn't work.
Don't get you by.
But I did have a chuckle yesterday. Can I give a shout out to the Spanish Presidente? Pedro, first name calling is his name because it's official office here, so we're at ease, soldiers, but Pedro Sanchez, wow, what an authentic quality. And he was there having a chat, and I saw somebody else come out and chat, okay, and this was a Secretary of State, and he was wearing relaxed a t-shirt and something else. I'm like, hang on, you work for a country and you've got the title underneath you with the Secretary of State and you're here in a t-shirt with your hair all messy. I'm like, this is amazing. Me and Kev could be Secretaries of State given this man here. It's rolling up Monday morning with, Boris style haircuts and tiny eyes and cups of coffee like, well, we need an hour, we're running a bit late. Imagine, where's the update? Where's the Cobra? Well, we're running late, sorry.
Fuck off, I'm not ready. Too early.
Still do a better job than this lad in his t-shirt and thingy on an international stage as a state secretary and whatnot. I'll get at you later, but interesting times.
Weirdness. It's all going crazy.
I don't know. Wanders will come back in a bit and we'll get that then. We'll keep the thread if he's still here.
Yeah, let's go down a bit. I'm a little bit back from, well, there's a few gone in now. And I see him. Yeah.
I did.
No, not since that comment. Sorry, mate.
He's gone. Yeah, I didn't see him. So. My queen getting. What's Jerry on about? Getting attacked in the shower. Cat Nares, you can go blue. Let's get.
What's that? Is he back in prison?
Don't know what's going on here though. Jerry going off the flow. I was playing music and actually played a guy called Gerald yesterday from Chippy Paul, Voodoo Ray.
Yeah.
What a tune. When we was in the club, no offence to ones that are that way, but I was childish and immature and I used to shout, I used to mouth with silence. It was a club, you didn't matter if you said it, they couldn't hear you, and it was you are gay. Because Voodoo Ray, when you say you are gay, I'm not, no offence now, I'm older and mature and I respect all forms of sexuality not all forms, most forms are redaction or some common
backpedal.
But you are gay.
Shovel out.
You are gay to Voodoo Ray. Classic, silly little things. Only you. And you'd go up to people in club and fist bump them or give them all right, pal, you are gay. Just silly little. I was drunk and childish, it amused me. But the man there had it on. He's got good taste in music and the demographic is over there. Look. And somebody had on what did I say the other day? Injected with a poison, was it the Praga Khan? And oh, rave. The noise then. Who was
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Come across some really early stuff. Gone into the favourites recently. 87, 88.
Cat Ness has said she loves this. I'm rolling, but I'm quite far up. I'm just catching up. Thank you, sister. Mars Minkle. I don't think I've seen that name before. You're grey, so that tells me not so. And thank you. Hello. Easy now. Left book. Faith Over Fear from Sister Lisa. I like that one. That's a t-shirt in itself there. Faith Over Fear. That's really striking. Why does that strike anybody else, or is it just me? That's a good one. Short and sweet, simple, 3 words. Bosh. Like the 10 Commandments, do not steal, thou shalt not. You know, like these. Let's compare the original Bible, biblical commandments. We'll keep away from the New Testament for various, and we'll go original Bible and the commandments there. Words, sentences, 10. You know, roughly. Even in the Phoenician original, it wasn't chapter and verse. Let's get the Traffic Management Act out for the Road Traffic UK. How many hundreds of pages do you think, and thousands of words? And you need to understand that, because those are your rules for you to play the game. And that's just one area of the 90 areas that we need to look at concisely and effectively, because ignorance is no defence. So which rule book, if you had a choice, fam, which you do have a choice, is what we're saying here, would you like the rule book of death, and it's basically comprised of 100 telephone books all stitched together as if it was one book? 100, you know, like back in the day you used to see the World's Strongest Man and he'd come on with the telephone books and rip them up and stuff. Well, this one, he would run away from it. He'd cry and go, oh, that's the book from me nightmares. Because it's that big a thick book, you know. It'd make strong men like that cry like little girls. It's the biggest book of books since, you know, big books were there. Or would you like the old, you know, tablets of 10 Commandments? Which one do you think you'll, you know, is going to benefit you the best? We'll put it like that, eh? I'll not be clever. You decide. You decide. That's where we're at.
I was gonna make a comment. This sort of aimed at Dave and Jerry. I was about to make a comment as a joke. I had a little think about it. And I think in private, I definitely find it funny, but I'm not. I had a little think about it and I thought, might just push the boundary. Well, actually, if you step right over it, I don't push anything. So I've decided to withdraw it for a moment. I'm going to tell Dave when we finish, when we're off air. If I remember by then.
Right then, yeah. Put right it
Oh,
down.
it was just funny. It made me laugh. And I thought, no, hang on a minute. Actually, that might be misconstrued by other sources. Nobody here would have misconstrued it. I assure you. But it was just a bit of a danger moment. Bit of a legal moment. Be careful where you are and what you say.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Because you can't delete it when you're on tube, and that's the thing. I learned that earlier.
No, as I say, and even though it would have been found funny, it was really over the line. Well, by the powers that be, it would have been deemed that way. So best not.
That's it. Well done. We're learning. We're getting there. All of us. 2 point.
It was a bit dangerous, though. It was dangerous. To be honest with you, that's why I thought, no. Don't
well
do
done. Touche, my good man. Touche.
Yeah.
Grazia. I got to comment about, I'm going to put on an Iron FE shirt and kick Satan out of Earth. That could be the top comment so far by 2.8 Mile Mushroom. The video that I've posted in here with the nurse and her concerns, she says in that at some point that she's looked at ionized and non-ionized atmospheres and she was concerned about the healthiness of. And that brings me to a comment that she put on about iron, Fe, iron ionization. You've put IRON as in, I know what iron you're on about and where you're coming from. Ferrous, ferrous, Fe is ferrous, iron is metal. I get it all, but yeah, we got the ionization on the magneto-electro now, plasma, and she was kicking ass with that. I was like, go on, sister, who are you? Where are you from? And you've got it now in the link earlier on, and it was just the knowledge, the commentary is bang on.
Yes. And I just say, Jerry, it's not you I was worried about, mate. I know you would find it funny. It's just something that when I needed, because it was about a certain thing, I thought about it anyway, and then I thought, no, can't. It's too risky. I'll tell you off air, but it won't be so funny then because it's going out of context now. But I will tell you what it's about, and you'll understand why I didn't say it, because it could have really caused ructions. It's just the subject I was going to talk about. That's all. It could have really caused trouble, and any excuse, and it's Dave's channel, so maybe if it was on mine, I might have not given a shit, but could get me into trouble.
All right, well done, yeah, well reserved, Kev. We appreciate that, and the agents don't.
The hinges kicked, the door hinges kicked off for sure.
There's a comment from Sister Lee saying James would shout at people he couldn't understand when they would speak in their lingo. I would check him saying they aren't deaf. I've seen it. I used to be that man. Just scrolling the comments, Kev.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I was right there with you at Lisa's comment that you were just reading. And I was just going to read the one directly underneath it from Cleveland. 2 5G mask, destroyed in Liverpool. Yeah, I think one in Birmingham. Might be a couple in Birmingham now. I think I might have seen one down south somewhere. further south than I could be wrong about that. But yeah, there seems to be a little spate of them. Good. Which, funnily enough, actually links into part of what I can't say. The towers. There's a weird little connection there that nobody's ever going to know about apart from Jerry and Dave. When I tell them.
I like the connection that Cleveland's made. It's like the start of Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like that.
We're all going, Mega City's coming.
Mm-hmm. It may look like the start of Judge Dredd, but let me tell you, scribes, those that are here now and the ones on the replay, I've got a big week next week. I'm going to do a job of jobs. The job of jobs. I'm getting some answers.
The job of jobs.
Yeah, it is. I've put it off all last week. I've spoke to everybody. I've got in touch
like
with.
Innuendo for a massive shit.
In your endo, not mine.
Yeah, or out of your endo.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh no. Oh, we don't know me endo from me elbow, from me arse from me elbow.
Endo, alto. Whatever's happening with, so I don't know what's going on with me endo.
I think that was a trick I used to do on a BMX in 1986 where you just did an emergency stop and you slammed on the front brake and you went up on the seat until you got to 90 degrees and you should have stopped there and not carry on over to go over handlebars, and that was your endo, if I remember rightly. That was my endo anyway. Clean and calm.
That was the endo of
that. So yeah, like Judge Dredd, tickets, stop.
Oh yeah.
You remember?
Shut that floor off. Gas the bastards.
Is that the film where somebody has a drug that makes you go in slow motion?
Yeah.
And, oh, what a thing to do to somebody! We're like, no way. I thought, and that's
shit.
Actually,
they end up doing her with it, don't they? And slinging her
slow.
down.
I called it slow.
The building.
Yeah. Well, I said to my mate, because if you carry on like that, I'm going to get you some slow and throw you. We use that as a joke, like, because I thought that was a horrific way to make somebody meet their doom. A slow motion ending. That's just sublime, to be fair. Piece de la resistance of, Hollywood things at the time. Then I was like, that's some thinking, that is. That's some thinking. Then Saws came out and they break boundaries every hour now. It was yearly for us on videos. From what Circle K to Ritz to Blockbuster to DVD, and it slowly for us. It was painful, weren't it, growing up and getting technology and new stuff. Now I've got lost in it. It scares
Yeah, it
me.
was sort of. It came really the first computers in school and that was sort of started when I was coming towards the end of all that. So I got more involved in the early Commodore stuff, the home stuff, and games and all that sort of thing that way. And then I sort of not drifted away. It wasn't something I was really involved in. It was really when my son was born and he was like, 5, 6, so that there was a good excuse to get PlayStations and stuff.
Living through the assets, yes, living through the blood, the sons and
We're gonna get
daughters.
that one. No, I never play it. Oh,
Good
but
times, good
he
times,
was
mate.
he was. He plays like a demon, or certainly used to. Much more than me. I enjoy a game now and again, but then I have long periods without it. But that's usually because of my mental state. But I've got two. We've got Xbox 360s upstairs. Got a PS4 and a Project Scorpio down here. And likes playing the games as well, but.
Yeah, they're great. I like many a pastime. I've been there and done it. The technology, it's got to the point now where you can't tell the difference. It's
amazing
we
now.
should be proud of
The
ourselves.
4K and I've got 8K now. There's only so far you're going to go with that. It's just ridiculous.
At our eyes, the human eye is already able to see in HD. I'm like, hang on a minute. If I can see that, then our eyes are, and I'm like, we're just born. We're just a cell, and it just makes it in your mum's womb. And it's like the intricacy of the technology inside us. When I say on Facebook, I don't know if you saw that post about in definition of numbers, which one would man be, and so number 3 was supernatural. Natural and natural, some natural. I can't remember what options were put now. If it was legal, natural person or super. What I can't remember it, but it was number 3. Supernatural was the answer. I do a lot of posts. You'll have to appreciate it was 48 hours and 50 posts ago. I've slept since then, but supernatural is when you can appreciate that man in a legal realm would appear to be supernatural because you are not interfacing, you are there. So here we go, an appearance, a special appearance. You are not, so you are in the realm, but you are not in the realm, but you're going to use the instrument to do business, but they're not going to like that. But there's a way of performing. You've got to perform. The world is a stage, and it's all an illusion, reality, and the thread is loose, but that performance is required. So you could become all rise, the dead and so forth, the language, the structure, the colours, the audience, the venue, everything is set up to for you to volunteer and plead in. Everybody does it. It's normal, Well, we could say that about a lot of things, but it doesn't make it right, does it? Eh?
Yes.
Supernatural. So they've put the supernatural into Superman and into these things with laser eyes and that. But if you can remote thingy or you've got any extrasensory perception, I'd like to argue for the fun of it that we're supernatural in that respect. If you've ever thought of somebody you've not seen in a while and then they've texted you or rang you within a short time and it's been years, you've just called them with your telephone of the head in the brain and the consciousness and the non-locality of the fields of modality and all of this. Oh, that rhymed. Non-locality of the fields of modality. I'm going to make a tune. It's coming. All these things are going to be put. You're going to help me, but we'll do it together.
He didn't
Then the
know
time is right. And yes, the technology, you make that call with your the internet that already exists before, and we copied what was there. So then your friend, brother, sister, family member, lost one, whatever, calls, and you're like, hey, I was only thinking about you other day. You got in touch with them, and then they heard it, and they get in touch with you, and then you confirm the first call mentally when they call you digitally or text you or email you. It's incredible. So that's supernatural. I'm not on about, oh, Dave think he's losing it, the indigo, sovereign indigo Dave, etc. No, I'm not. It's in the realms of. So then when you go into trust and you say, well, you've got, well, which capacity and status and thingy are you in? Because there are, as far as I'm aware, 3 to 4 main areas of trust that could be governed in areas of. So if you've got 4, which one are you in? Well, you need to look at that. Again, it's a bit deeper than just paper formats, but it comes down to your natural. You have a legal personality. We have explained that the legal personality is the estate and the name. So you have a legal person. That's a company. So you think of any company. I shall not name that supermarket or any ones that I normally do. I will not. But think of a company, any one. They all have capital names. That's your legal person. That's why it's capital. That's the capitalization. Then you have your natural person, which is the legal person with rights. But it's not man, blood, star, seed, beneficiary, creditor, many names, flesh and blood, natural man. It's a natural legal person. So you've got a natural person. It's a person. Well, we don't respect persons. There's a clue there. It's like your sovereign citizen. They've done it again. Yeah, here's your natural person. That's what you used to fill in your statutory declaration. Oh, is it now? Okay, then. Thank you very much. Are you here for advice and stuff? Because I've got some further questions, and they run off. Oh, well, I'm not going to fill in that, and I haven't got a legal person. I'm not a legal person. I have a legal person, and you've got your legal entities there, and your legal personality, and your rights given to them, but they're persons and legal. So that's, again, it depends on how you see yourself and what you know, and how you could then, how would you do it? You would somehow notarize, record the fact of your status and get that to be acknowledged by the system irrefutably, which is why we brought in the KJV and some of the commonalities between churches, courts, languages, and ghosts and spirits and natural. Again, here we go, natural and super, and your supernatural ability has been deviated by Hollywood to make you think it's to do with weapons and lasers and capes and bats and fucking caves and all of that, when it's not so much that at all. It's down to interpretation. I'm just giving my thoughts on where we're at now. If that helps, I might not. It may confuse.
I'm still thinking about. I'm so glad I kept my mouth shut. I'm terrible. I'm so glad I've vet myself now.
It's continuous improvement, Kev.
Thank you.
And we are on thin ice as well, so thank you.
Well, that's what I mean. That I was skating on thin ice. I pulled the fuse on the bomb while on the ice.
It was a bit touch and go, that one. Let's go and have a look at the comments.
It was strong, mate. It was my humour. It was too strong.
Gotcha, David. Spot on. Yes, there's 3 of you. There's a number 3 there. There's a natural womb man, lady man, blood, flesh, natural man. Never forget those words. Natural man, simple as. Then you've got your natural person. Well, that sounds great, but that's legal entity. And then you've got the legal entity itself, legal person. So legal persons, all caps, Mr. David Jeremita, all caps. That's my legal person, my legal fiction. Then lowercase, David Jeremita, Mr. David Jeremita, lowercase, all little, not a single capital. But I've put a mistel, I've entitled it, I've used the correct style of grammar, but I've also afforded a title which then removes the thingy, and you've gone into, like if you use little and you put in legalese and you somehow sign and contract into acceptance of legal realms, then it doesn't matter. You've given, and that will be enough. Belligerence, illiteracy is weird. You'd think it needs to be spot on. Oh, they've spelt my name wrong. Well, no, not really. They'll still get away with it because none of it's kosher and judicial and de jure. It's all arbitrary, administrative, and due process. So the all caps is your entity and your legal company. A company, then you're like a franchise.
Nonsense
A
is what it
franchise.
is.
Yeah, if you work for me and I had a company and it was SPL's Pro, then I give you a name. And you have that name of SPL's Pro derivative, and you'd have that as all capitals. So maybe you was SPL's Pro London, SPL's Pro Manchester would always be capital, and the main company name would always be capital, and that would be your ID. And you would answer to that and use that and function on that. And if there was any trouble, that's what would be used for your official, title. So people in offices always have the capital name, and that's their ward of the state. Like the Queen Elizabeth has just been on TV. The Queen, that's all capital, the Queen, but that's not the woman. That's the position she plays, the legal fiction, the legal status there. So that's the company. All these we've said before that they're registered on Dun and Bradstreet. Alistair Dowling was the big surprise for me of the Labour Party, and he had international privileges of, and which then bestowed upon to by proxy of. And I was like, wow, you can actually have some fun with this if you know what you're doing then and get your privileges. But your legal person is not the legal entity, is not the all capital name. So the legal person is the natural person is not the legal. So your all caps is your legal person, and if you want to claim your constitution and your rights, and you have your natural person. But natural, you think, oh, that's where I need to be. That's not a legal person; it's a natural person, and it's got rights. Okay, but they're not rights. They're constitutional and public side, and then international covenants when we say rights. But don't forget, you got rights from the creator. So why haven't I got them to use now? Why aren't they hearing me? Because you need to look at the other position, the flesh and blood man, with his natural person and his legal person. So then there's the blood, the person, natural, the person, legal, and you. So there's three of you there, as best as I've seen it, and how we've come to play it. You would do the autograph, thumbprint, and settlor, creditor, etc., executive, many types of positions there, as the flesh and blood, sentient, conscientious object or whatever, and your faith, blood, bones, flesh. He is risen, they are risen, one is risen, and you will stay risen, and you keep your person, legal and natural, to one side. Then the legal is what's always been in play. It's only of late we found the natural, and we got confused a little bit, and we thought that was the one to play, and it was the keystone of, but it wasn't, because you need to find a triangle and go through the windows like on Rainbow, was it, and meet Zippy, George, and Bungle, have a duel with them.
Play school was through the windows, isn't it?
Does it play school? Yeah, so one of them. Yeah, thank you. And you get out the other side once you've been on the DMT pipe with Bungle. Sorry, but yeah, it's amazing where we and how we get to that point and how you see it. It's all down.
I highly recommend that. Everybody should try that at least once. Wicked. In and out, 15 minutes, job done. Wicked. Feel brilliant. No hangover, nothing. Hours of it. Just wow.
Herbless. What about deed polls in relation to the straw man? Well, when you change the name, Mers, you're changing the name of what? The name is not you. You have a calling, so a name change is on a deed poll. So the title will change and your name change. The Mister still remains because you're over 18 to do the deed poll. And you're changing the name of the person, the legal. So that's your master legal person, which would be the legal person, not the natural person. It's the natural person is connected to the legal person. You just default after legal. You only get the natural when you insist on and you put it in certain ways and you point out, oh right, they trick you with the language. Oh, so it's you're not the legal entity. You're the natural person, are you? Yes, that's right. I'm a natural person. Well, you're not. You're the natural man. They're giving you 50 and you've took it. They've offered you something and you've took it, so therefore you took that, you accepted that. They've said they've given you natural, but they've a fixed person. The deed poll changing of the name is legal, and it's done through the paperwork for the person. So it's nothing to do with a man. And if you're asking which one of those is it, it's both. But you have a master person, don't you? The all caps, date of birth, and surname. The natural person is something you need to research and have a look at, but it's trickery because you got the natural man. Yeah, so in court to be heard, the natural person can be played. You can be man with persons. Yeah, so fine. I'm not here to tell you. I'm just saying. And I'm happy to answer. You're dead, Quinn. Look at that, what he's put there. Indeed, dead.
Chippy Paul's put in there. KGV. I'm lost there. Do you mean KJV?
Yeah.
Or have I got? Yeah.
Yeah.
KJV. King James version of the Bible.
Excuse
KJV,
me.
if that's what you want, mate. 1611, is it?
Yeah, there's lots of 1611 authorised. There's the red, not the red letter, the pure Cambridge edition. I've put that on the .com, and the words and the differences in Lord, titles, split titles, God, Messiah, Christ, Jesus, the capitals, little letters, way that they
We
put.
got a New Jerusalem on there.
Yeah, it's a red letter one, I think, as well. New Jerusalem. May or may not be. There's no ignorance. But wait, it's KJV, so he needs. If he's put question mark asking, is it KGV? No, it isn't. It's Kilo King Juliet Julia, yeah, J, and then V for Victor. It's instead of the golf, put the Juliet J middle letter change, and you're in 1611. And look at the various editions, yeah, as well. The pure Cambridge and the other versions. There's a few.
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots of all of them.
Yeah, it is tweaks and like what we're doing now. But the original one, the authorised one, is as we've come to find a handbook to equity, titles and property. The rest have got their own twists and interpretations. Shakespeare was partly handed in the writing of for the King James, and Shakespeare is an anagram allegedly of all the people that were behind Shakespeare writing for him, and he was the front man for that secret group that wanted to bestow this wisdom secretly through that man Shakespeare. It wasn't William Shakespeare, that was his title claimed actor on the stage of, and KJV he helped with others. Right, yeah. Manuscript. Natural child equals bastard from Jerry.
Yeah.
Child, why though?
Right.
Can we say why? Can we say he's given you the word there as well? So the child part is the legal. Yeah, we have a natural asset, natural son, a natural daughter. How would you put that then? Yeah, this is my asset, my sired, the loins from sired from my loins, my property, my asset. It may sound weird, but my son and daughter is also a good one. Child, no. Parents, the nanny state. Bitty mum. Yeah, it's all very well and good till the milk dries up. The truth will set humanity free's dropped in and said.
I think the father's down as on the originals, where the father's down as informant.
Mother, father,
and that's why. Yes, something like that on the actual main registration. I don't know if that's changed these days, but I know it used to be. So.
And that's your event. That's not man being registered. They can clarify that.
No,
it's an event.
That's a bastard being registered. Yeah, that's why they're claiming you.
So man can never be. That's another thing.
Although,
man is not.
Although actually, we're actually contending that it's just the moment of the spark, the divine spark, is when they actually claim you.
Zygote, yeah, the zygote moment. Conception, fertilization, conception, and 9 months in the womb. After the 9 months, the fetus is terminated, the terminator, termination, and the baby is then born and delivered legally. And then after a period of weeks, it's then required to be legally registered, and that is an event, and then you hand over the claim of right from what the companies are stealing in mineral reserves and energy reserves. You have a claim to that, so that's the fundamental financial aspect of why we claim the money, because they're profiting, as you can see in the markets, up to press till they froze and look like froze water, freezing of liquidity has gone to frozen while we get through this part. But they were making billions, and those billions are on those certificates that are done in vehicles of envelopes on markets and Bond and Wall Street as SPVs. So that date when you've gone into the office with mum and dad is when the certificate is created. So that legal person I entered into earlier, and your the legal entity, the all caps, is created then. So say you was coming in on the 1st of Jan 2020, that's your born date. Your conception date would be 9 months before that. So your 1st of Jan 2020 means that January, February, March sometime will have been your conception, won't it? And then you come out January, born, conceived in March the year before, registered, say end of Jan. So then they create your vessel, your ship, on that end of Jan point. So that's your legal person. Your natural person is associated with that, and then there's you, the person, the man, the baby. So your mum volunteers all of that, or your dad, your mum is a volunteer going off there. Girls are eating my cake. I know it's going off. 10 to 12 eating. And so, yeah, if that clarifies anything. So when you sometimes, we said a year ago, we could effectively argue that when the legal realm asks for a date of birth, if you arrived on the 1st of January, and you was born then, but you was registered at the end of Jan, then you could give out a date of birth. To be correct, you'd give out the end of Jan date, because that's when the legal, you see, we got fooled. What's your date of birth? Well, my date of birth is hearsay, as we know now, and we have a rough date, and if you never give that date, it will infuriate the agents, and they can't process. They will have to assume and presume, because you haven't volunteered. You see, it's a trick. So in many ways that you're volunteering and that you're claiming a date of birth. When you actually say I was born and it was I can only give you a year, that's all I know. I have no paperwork, and you can play dumb, or you can argue like we do and say, what, are you legally trained? No, and so therefore I am not going to comply. What language do you speak? We're not equality, even playing fields, and so you get tricked and you give out that date of birth, and so you contract in, because it's like when they pull you up and they're looking for the driver and stuff, because it's registered with them. If you give them something that's in their system, they can deal with that, because it's theirs, as according to the officers and the inspectorate of the Crown in many and various forms. But if you don't give them something which is theirs, which is why I found the faiths that come into it, the Jewish and the other Eastern faiths, they couldn't get mortgages and they couldn't be processed in courts and be recognised so easily, much like the women having to be written into law by the Privy Council in the 60s because of an issue in Canada with a lady, and they had to come to London High Court Privy Council to get women recognised in law in 1960, along with the further rights that come with the suffragettes and the things with women. So with persons and man, religion and faith, and then it clicked. That was the moment when I went, right, so if your faith doesn't allow you the person as such as conforms to the London Temple Crown, then they can't get you. They will give you a person instead and give you a UK thingy from which you don't have. And once you've got that, you volunteered to get. It's a bit like being sworn into the American flag. You don't swear to the country of America and allegiance, I'm afraid, as best as we see it. And Jack Fresco, you swear into Washington DC and the Columbia Tri-Star State, and that's the deception there as a person and a citizen. And you get what's called you are an illegal alien, as far as they would call it, the federal and homeland securities, and they will naturalize you. There's your natural person, you see, and they naturalize you into and you think, oh lovely, I'm in now, I'm in club, I'm on boat. Like, you don't know you're on a boat because you're on land, but it's madness. I yield.
Right, thank you very much. I would just like to say to the truth, namaste. Lovely words there, absolutely right. And Jerry, bit of salvaging, big mistake to give women rights big Steve. Oh, steady.
Sorry, I just had to nip out. I missed that last bit there. Just checking on the Queen and Princess.
That's all right, mate.
What were you on about?
You were gone for. I was just. I don't even know. I've forgotten. It was so 3-4 seconds ago. That's my age. I was commenting on the Truth's remark. The Truth will set humanity free.
I've just seen that. Yeah, I'm going to make them blue,
Yeah.
but I'm running out of battery now. I haven't got my charger, but I should have enough power.
And then, Jerry was saying about they've made 2 from 1 in the cutting of the umbilical cord and salvaging, pirating.
Oh, don't even. Yeah, it's not the right, but yeah, you could. I just want to say on that one, all of it. Ugh.
Maybe they've grown other ones of us from those. Ready to step in.
It's a product. They're called products. They're called babies products. I'll just label it as. I'll let you work it out. They call us products, right? And a product is delivered in a delivery room. All right. Let's go. Major online retailer. You put an order in. Okay. Commercially, sexual commercial. We covered this on the other video. They class it as sexual intercourse. You intercourse with them.
Yeah.
Course boats. Plot my course lines, sidelines, and then you place that. You place that order. Commercially, sexually, in the way that they view it. And I forgot why I'm telling you this now. I've done what you've done. Why was I telling you this? The commercial, sexual aspect of it. And you put the order in. Where was I going? And I was going to say major retailer, and I said, yeah, I'm not going to say that. The reason is, I don't know now. I've lost it. My son, the birth, the product, yeah. And you get the product. See, the silver helps. It really does. Every time I get it now. Before I was hopeless. So it is getting there. But you put an order in, and you'll get a product from the major high street online retailer delivered to you. So let's go hospital. The product has been delivered in a delivery room. Ooh, this is man we're talking about here. But we're in a military installation, aren't we? That explains it then, because when I wrote to the Anglican Church and got an email back from them before I went down to the Chancery, I wanted to check a few things. On the email back, the Reverend Captain David wrote back to me. I went, whoa, hold up, son. What? The Anglican Church, the Church of England, has got the Reverend Captain David emailing back. So you're in the army, lad, are you? So yes, different levels of military and products and conception and wards and battles and souls and
all it together.
Sexual in there as well. And the video that we shared with the ones that are trying to lower the age of consent, that's who we're after here. These ones that say it's fair game to lower it to. I'm not here for that, but as you brought up babies and the placenta and the legal states and the we call it necromancy is what it is. This is the Crowley side of it and the weirdness of he didn't start this, but he didn't help things, these kind of magics that they brought to the establishment, but the blood and the lust and the secrecy and the weirdness is it's just not cricket, is it? We're not down with it. When you find it out. You want to wash your hands of it and have clean hands, and I'd argue, unless
they won't even let you do that.
I know there's no antibacterial. It's all gone. Weird wrongness.
We've got the no justice virus.
So we apologise for that. It makes us sick here on this channel at SPL's Facebook, the .com. All of you, we stand for many things united here, and these are the reasons why we try so hard and we put out what we do. And yeah, I think you're blue now. Truthful sent you 3. Spanner in the works. Yes, hi. Anybody else? Is anyone?
Hey, roll for anymore. Roll up.
You look after us, we look after you. This is what we say, the light contract. We have a light contract. You go blue, and you get whatever. You can post links, I think, is the advantage, and you can right click and have control on helping out unwanted undesirables, and you get something from us. So that's a contract in a way. It's unwritten. When people say to me, "Oh, you can't do a trust," yeah, well, we've got one going now. I've got a trust here with Kev and I and you. We are settling in the given information of value. You are benefiting from that. But as we are giving it you and you're benefiting, then we also need to know who's guaranteeing it. So now we've legally, Kev's not, I'll take him out because he's a brother and he's not legal. Indy is the account that I manage here. So Indy David, are the trustee, but I'm also settlor in, putting in, granting, grantor, grantor of dominion, God, grantor. So we grant you the access to our minds and ments, bibble and babble. And then Kev's giving and you're benefiting. So that's our trust. That's our
Yeah,
like contract in a way.
I'm benefiting from David.
We all are. Yeah. But there's no court, there's no anything, and it's under the word, it's testified by mouth, and it's accepted by you continuing and being here, going on and chatting and interacting with us, and that's it. And you tell me, oh well, you need to do this, and you govern. Okay, of course you are. Carry on, crack on. You are in the other realms. If you choose them realms, you see, that's the point. If you accept, and I don't. So anytime this channel gets attacked by its father company, moderators and so forth, I accept them conditionally on behalf of Indiglo, who's not real, like Mr. David Jeremita, who's always, is dead. David's not, but what they cloned of me is, and the legal entity that I created here on Tube is Indiglo, and that's what an illegal name, an account, an access point for you and I. I legally manage it, so it's all good. It's all gravy.
Wavy gravy.
I'm glad nobody's panicking. I want to say overall, no one's coming with and I see what there could be, and I respect you for that, all of you. I respect you for sharing what you've been doing and how you keep occupied. I don't see massive danger for any of us, and I'm very excited and eager to see how long they want to keep us like this, and what the damaging effects will be, and how bad they report it. There's three things here. How big will it get? How long will it be? And what will be the damage?
If they cock it up, I'm not being funny. It turns out it's a big cock up. There's going to be huge claims going into businesses. This is huge. It's ridiculous. Can't believe it.
It may shut down China in a way financially if they try and pin something on. You never know. You just never actually know.
We'll see. We're pointing their fingers that way all of a sudden. Anyway, it is what it is. Just gonna have to sit back. It is what it is, boys and girls. You and I ain't gonna stop it. That's for sure. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. It's the true.
True talk.
Like to stop it.
Chippy Paul, the birth cert very clearly explained. You know what? It's taken about 5 years to speak like that. Just remember that if you get boosts from us and make notes and do your own due diligence, and it's a very sticky, upsetting, weird subject to find out, because essentially when you get into this, you find out that you are not who you thought you've been. And you think you've gone through life, Jack the Lad, 10 Men, whatever, Sister Bliss, and then Rollo and Sister Bliss. Good Lord, that's an old one. Raven. You have a fractured psyche, only temporarily. But imagine when you are on this on your own, and you haven't got many and to go to, and there wasn't Facebook as such, and there wasn't YouTube videos, and you was doing this, and it's just insane what man's done in the past to get to the point where we had in the 80s squatters going in and claiming houses, and they weren't able to be removed. And it wasn't until very recent, I've thought these ones back then knew about equity and rights and possession, and they were us back then. But we've got a lot going on. And it takes us all to manage it. But when you find out, when you've got support and you've got documents and you've got videos and you've got .coms and things and these chats, then it should help you incredibly faster than we did get there. So It's not a fact that, oh, well, I had to work for it, everyone's got to work for it, or I didn't come easy for me. No, no, no. We appreciate that the ones 50% at least will stick with and show loyalty and respect and build with us. So we appreciate 50% run off and do other things. So that's fair play as well.
Do what you got to do.
It's anger at first, and then you've got this because we know you find out, and if you accept it and you choose to deal and move on, then that takes time, and it's like when you split up with a loved one, a wife, or you lose something, you lose a part of you, and so you're angry, and you're angry at them for tricking you, but then you're angry at yourself really, because I pointed it at the system and the elites and the monarchies and the Vaticans, and it was me. I didn't take the time in my life to check myself before I wrecked myself. And I'm not defending the bondage, and I can't. I've made my life's work to bring it down. Babylon will fall. We will get out. But the point is that there is an element of ourselves to blame in this, and it's not nice to say. But we do get guided, and we do get. But then what do they guide us with? Their own versions of the good book that isn't correct. So when you read that good book, you go, this doesn't. No, no, no. Snakes don't. When you're young and you go into Bible school or Sunday school and that, you just disin. If you're indigo, of course, or crystals or whatever you are, and you're on the spectrum of I'm not a zombie, that'll do. Never mind the labels, and you read stuff like that, and you take the academic things and the world and the start, and you're like, no, there's something inside you, even at a young age, resonates, and you get labelled whatever, and it's it may be right, it may not be, and as you get older, suddenly you find people like us, or we find people like you as well, and we go boom, and that just takes that one thing, and then that one thing confirms sets you back to where you was when you was little, and that energy comes back, and you're like, right, because when you grow up, it's that child dies inside of you, your dreams, your aspirations, the tree houses, the cars, the plastic men that you got from everything we did. Imagine, and when you was little, you made promises to yourself and that, and then they kill it, they kill that, separate, and what they do to us. But some of us, it's dead. But when we get that bit of, oh, do you know, I've always thought, and now I've got it, resets, and you come back to life again, and that's what we appreciate in that 50%. I yield. Yeah, man.
No, well said, mate.
Because they do, they kill you. They kill you inside. Go on, it's like they kill you. A version of you dies. Yeah.
Yeah. Slow, steady withering.
And with that death, right, goes the quest for knowledge, goes the quest for truth. You know what the animals I protect. When I saw the rhinos and the things that were going off when I was little, I was nearly, not that I was an angelic, I was a little shitbag. I was anything but angelic, but inside me, I'd liked animals. And I just liked animals and I didn't like to see, as many of you do, and I'm not alone, but it really got to me. I was like, how can people do that? That I would find them. If I was the judge, I'd say, right, we're going to stop this, and what we're going to do is get that man that did that, and we're going to do that to him. I know it's horrible and against God, but at some point, man needs to know. It's like with the ones that touch the sons and daughters. If you don't deal with them in a strict way, of which makes the next man think, oh, do you know what? I might have a go with, and then Lado goes, yeah, but do you know what happened to John? What happened to John? Well, he's not with us no more. Why? Oh, right, yeah, the mum and dads, and they sorted him out. They give him but we don't. We give them rooms with privileges and luxuries, and we say that they're not evil. There's a disorder, and we play it down, and we lower the age of consent, and then the ones with the issues go, hang on a minute. You're telling me I'm a criminal because I haven't paid this fixed PCN, but out there you're doing X, Y, and Z, and John's gone and done that and got 6 years, and he's back out on the street. You put him next to a school, and he's gone out and hang on a minute, and I'm the shut up. There's real crimes going off, and then there's bullshit going off, and that's where we're at in 2020.
The trouble is they're concentrating on the bullshit where the revenue is. Cunts. Anyway, sorry, Kent. I meant Kent.
Yes, it's true. Some respect when it comes to blood, and we're at the temperament now, lockdown, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, is it? I don't know. How long have we been? Middle of March?
Yes. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
Stress, a little bit. Frustration,
10
anger.
I don't know, 10 days, I don't know how long. I say, for me, I couldn't tell you, because this is just normal for me.
Yeah, it's the 6th of April, and it happened about the 20th of March, so, 22nd-ish.
Yeah, because if they downgraded it on the 20th, and then they made the announcement they were going in lockdown.
Yeah, we've got evidence from the .gov UK site. We posted it in
Dear.
the video. Yeah, it's downgraded from a HCIVD or something, was it, Kev? Some letters like that.
HCID, highly contagious infectious disease, or something like that.
Yep.
HCID. Yeah, lots of weirdness. Anyway, just look at the figures. Figures don't add up. Sorry. And strangely, flu numbers seem to be missing at the moment. So I bet you nobody died of flu this year.
No, they won't. They'll have lost that. Everybody will have lost that. It's all corona. It's all basically, and they'll have to
you have a car accident, you'll have died of corona.
It's slapdash, isn't it? In a way, it's frustrating. A lot of nurses in the medical, doctors, nurses, they're in fear.
Making a mockery of it, isn't it?
And we're going out. Yeah.
Well, and what are they doing? The trouble is, where are the people going? Hang on. I'm under oath here. You take the piss. That's the problem. Too many order followers, mate.
There was a lady on a video earlier. It's probably going to get deleted, like the ones that with any truth in do. And she said, if this disease lasts on because a virus is what the body creates when you get an infection. A virus, it's even just the basics. The chief scientific officers aren't using the correct language. What they're saying to us is amazing that we're finding out. And we are not doctors. I don't pretend to be one, and I never will try to be one or a solicitor. We're just having a chat, always information, discussion, entertainment. And she said this. She says, if what the World Health and everybody claiming here on an international level is correct, with the ability for it to live 5 days on a surface, I thought 3. 72 hours, but this lady said 5 days, but it could be 3 to 5 days dependent on surface and temperature. It could be a bit longer, so we'll say 3 to 5 days. And she said, let's talk about, and I'm sorry for those of you that have afflicted with this, I'm not making light of it. This was on a video today, and I'm using it as to report back to you, or give you the information, formally report. And she said, if everybody thinks that they're saying that this virus or bacteria can live on surfaces for up to 5 days, then the AIDS virus would be all around the world now. The disease or other such ones as bad as that, but that's the main one that's the top killer and the big problem next to the big C. So not cancer, not corona. The original big C. This might be the second big C, but she was on on the right tip there, saying that the information that's being outlaid is somewhat sketchy, and if they are saying that these are now the facts, then that means that she even said, why haven't biblical and prehistoric diseases come about and stayed, if that's the case? She said, fungus, that's different. We understand funguses. She says, I'm into the body. I'm in a hospital. I'm in the profession, and I'm concerned about the inaccuracy of fake news. And I'm like, yeah, you got Facebook and everywhere censoring and YouTube deleting, and when we speak the truth, our voices get shut up. But yet the main voice that speaks is speaking wrong. So what does that tell us? I'll leave it there. I'll let you think. It's insane. And now we've got new emergency laws where they can go, come with us. Yeah, there's no more Dave. He didn't make it. COVID. What? Yeah. Arrest the page there for you to put your comments on.
Yeah, the prosecution rats. Evening S. No particular subject. Yeah, notifications. I've been getting messed around with those on here for a long time. I think maybe some other people are experiencing it. It's not unusual, mate. Been going on a while. One time.
I was reading then someone here catching up. Hello, Stu. I like to call him Stu because of the S. Let's cook up, see what we got going. Oh, shut down. Sorry, I need to go and get my charger. Oh no, can use the phone, David. Rolling up. Oh, we're busy.
Mate, the truth is scary, isn't it? How the sheep and come out on Wednesday night and bang your pots and pans for the NHS like good idiots, robots. Oh my God, it's scary. This is what we're up against. This is the reality. We don't stand a chance.
Who is Simon, Jerry? Simon. I'm just struggling, Kev. Who is Simon that Jerry's asking about? We got a Simon. I'm
I don't
struggling.
know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you guys know that the UK government?
Simple
Yes.
Simon.
The truth will set you free. We posted that. Yeah, Kev came in with an update on the SPL's Facebook fam, and then yes, we had 13 in today. Actually, new ones. Actually, it's working. The growth and the knowledge. So we were, we got then the day
Yeah,
after. That's what we were saying. Was it not the 19th? Is what we got on the document. HCI, whatever Kev said, and highly contagious infectious disease grade, and that was one report, one bulletin update to health professionals, and we had two different ones we got given, and then the 20th, 22nd, it was then lockdown. Yeah,
yeah,
Simon.
I've got those saved. They're still there. You can still go on the site and see it. It's still there, I do believe. It's not hidden. That's why it don't make no sense. Geezers and geezettes. Yeah, first casualty in war as well, Lisa, truth.
Chippy's watched the 10-1 to fall of the cabal. 10 days. Yeah. Wow, that's not good. It's not good, but it needs to be talked about and yeah, discussed.
Yeah, I saw something. Lux, how you doing? Yeah, I was looking at something, or I scanned past maybe a couple of things about that gold, the coronavirus gold bullion bounty. Look, no disrespect to the people on the NHS. I don't mean that. It's just the average. What are we amongst? Jesus Christ. Brown shirts. Grassing on your neighbours because they've gone out for a second walk. Fuck me.
Hello, Lux, by the way. Long time no see. Hope all is well and nice to hear from you. What?
It's Nazi Germany.
Kind of, yeah. It's reminiscent of, isn't it? You got
It's
the Queen.
where the
You got the
pedophile
Queen.
people are acting.
You got the Queen saying it reminds me of yeah, the children on the trains, and now
Whale meat again.
we've got neighbours telling in tales. Sometimes it may be duly warranted if there is a genuine concern, but remember, lest we not forget, and we all go to bed and forget. So well, not all, but most, yeah, forget the lessons of history, doomed to repeat. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
People
Bless.
gave a lot of people gave their lives up for what we possibly are losing right now. It could be a big fight coming on soon. That is going to be pretty.
Yeah, we're either going to get back up running and they're going to get these markets and slavery positions back open again, or we're going to see a reset of some kind. But if we don't, let's just keep going. If we don't see the reset, and they're going to get the ball rolling. We're not going to stand for the ball rolling, but then we're not everybody. So everybody will go back to the good old because they'll be going, you know, like there's a video that I'd like to share with you at some point with I think it's Spanish TV, and they're asking this man about jobs, and he just can't stop but laughing. He's like, yeah, when you're in the job and they ask you the question, what? Tell me, why do you want this job? And he starts laughing. He's going, nobody wants the job. Nobody wants to go to work. It's bullshit, and he tells you. He doesn't go into the great detail, but you know, it's we can know safely between us that 95% out there will never know or come to, even though they're due it and it's been given by the Most High. They won't, and it's set game and match to win for the devil. That's just the numbers, and I found that very hard to grasp and to take. And I was hell bent, literally hell bent on unfreezing hell, or freezing hell, and so it could never be, burnt through. And freeing everybody, but you're not going to be able to take that aspect of death and fear and yeah, usurpation away. And so we have to just look after the ones we can, and we will go. They can't close that door. We had a chat on the .com with some. I've got to keep it private, but the consensus was the Sesta K or Sesta KV and the Sesta KV, the Sesta K, and the rulings of some years, and that they are ordered to, and it's not about that, to be fair. It's yeah, we have to just, the ones before us that have believed something. You ever think that they got what they wanted straight away and they were taken serious or whatever? It's always hard work and pushing, and then it somehow gets out, and then everybody suddenly goes, actually, they're bang on. Why are they still arguing years and years later? Let's help them out, and that moment of the 100th monkey principle, we are very close to, very, very close. And next week, I got some big jobs on for myself, which is by proxy going to help you. If I do well, then I'll let you know, or it will be better. And we've got publications to look at. Those of you that have got liquidity, I'm worried for what may happen, but they seem to be managing it well. But they're going to, because they need to keep if they're processing death certificates and they're clearing bonds and stuff, then markets and discharge and offsets and banks and clearing things, they all need to be open still, don't they? Because if they're doing a big if there is some kind of scoop going off with bonds,
Shoving.
yeah, then these systems cannot be gone until the scoop has been done. And when they've done their scoop, then they will reset. But you see, then if they try to push us somewhere we don't want to go, we don't necessarily have to take that. But if these accounts of which master trusts have been split up and they are now working out that we are on the doorstep of in mass numbers, then perhaps every cloud for this system will have a silver lining. And whilst they do what they're doing and there is no queue, and they, we've all been dumbed down and put into, and 95% are going back, they're going to cream off for the rest of the 5% that would have potentially got. I don't want that door to close, so I think there may be a time limit on many things, or there may not, and just on a couple of which interest them. I haven't got a crystal ball. I don't know. I'm not in the club. But we can make informed, educated, opinionated, logical summations, assumptions, and because we haven't got the source and we're never going to get it, one should never assume. But to get where we get to, we have to do a little bit of faith. When we say assumption, it's on the faith, and we look at the past record track of, and it's very dirty, and it's full of failures and omissions and errors. So on that note, we proceed on. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, interesting. The fact that there's been series is on mainstream services. Last year, I've had some emails sent to me about. It's not very clever, is it, to put on a streaming site a thing about a viral disease pandemic, and then a year later a pandemic gets put out. I'm like, no, that's not very clever, because you've just recently programmed everybody in fear and pandemic, and then as soon as something hits the news, they all say, stop panic buying, what are you doing? Well, that's just shown Hollywood how good the programming is. Do you know what?
Yeah.
As soon as the first mention, they all went out and did what they do on all the films and programming of the episodes of, and I'm like, ooh.
So it's one way to clear old stock, isn't it? Oh, I've got shitloads of stock. Here you could do and get it. I know. Let's pretend there's a virus. Got warehouse is full of toilet rolls we need to move.
Nobody could have predicted that, when there's that. I'm embarrassed.
Oh my God, of all the things to buy, fuck's sake. Sorry, that's a
Madness.
massive mong
Madness.
hand. You mongs.
Can't believe the toilet roll was the highest, yeah.
Oh God.
You can't eat it.
Do you know what our priority was? Pet food, followed by flour and yeast. So we can make bread.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm reading Lux's reply
That's
as
right,
well.
mate. That's all cool.
She's like you. She's been isolated for 4 years. Look, self-isolated. She's already used to it. Bless her. Okay.
Yeah, this is Busman's holiday. Piece of piss. God, seeing him for 12 weeks, it has to be no problem.
I
Walk in
didn't.
the park, innit? Well, not at the moment, but it will be a walk in the park. Not for me.
I've got hello to Craig and Williams, and a question there. I've unsubscribed to his brother Steve's channel, for my own personal reasons, and I'm unable to answer that question about a video being taken down. But like I say, we're all getting videos deleted and told off here and there, and we're on thin ice. So probably sounds about right then. Oh.
Yeah, so they seem to be a little bit extra touchy at the moment. I just got a 24-hour for posting a video. It was sort of a meme, but a video of it was Hitler, but it was overdubbed by a Scouse bloke, and it was actually about social distancing. And they pulled me up, and that told me that violated their community standards. I have written to them and pointed out that if they realised that it was about the importance, basically, it was about the importance of social distancing, although be it in a joking manner. Is that against is social distancing against their community standards? I don't expect a response. Pricks. Make me sick. Shut up. Something I got on Facebook. And here's the weirdest thing, right? It was posted in 2 or 3 places. I'm not going to say exactly where, but it was posted in 2 or 3 places, and I only got pulled up in 1. So, what does that tell you?
Yes, it does indeed. And we're going to check Truth Will Set Humanity Free. I will look at that video. Thank you for the link. I see CH whatever 33 reserve banking, fractional reserve banking magic. You put a comment there about the £10 or a grand that you put in. They can lend 10 grand out on that. We've got updates on that. I'm just going to call you 33. 33 because of the number 33. I'll just pick 33 out and call you 33. All right there. And we've got Professor Richard Werner. If you go to RT on YouTube and you look at Renegade Inc., you will see that he's done an independent financial fiscal study. That's an independent financial fiscal study of credit creation, markets, banks, fiscal.
What sort of studies you done, Dave?
I'm not doing it again. Peter Piper picked a pickle pepper. The pickle Peter Piper picked was in propria persona in a fiscal, financial, unstable market. And he's revealed to the nations that watch it all about the truth with the credits and the creation. He's told you about fractional reserve banking. He's told you about all of money. He's got a old man sat there at the end pretending he doesn't know shit, but he knows everything, and he's there to, I think he's the limiter in a way, I don't know. But he's like, oh, it's fantastic how you explain. I'm like, as if you don't know, pal. Yeah, playing to audience. That's what's called playing to audience. So 233, we are all over this. We have busted open, not we, but we have consciously, for our own king and overstanding, busted the position of money, credits, finance, fiscal, fiat, everything. So for you clearly are a little bit behind. That's not an insult. So don't take it from me. Go and do your research and look at initially Professor Richard, brother Richard Werner, who's a professor of the financial markets, and he's on the International RT Russia Today, and you can find him elsewhere. Financial reports, not just Russia Today, but that was from the Great British Mortgage swindle, and just a news feed after I'd watched Michael on Renegade Inc. It came up going, what about this man? A week later, I'm like, shut up, really? Okay. Well, I was like, let's check him. And I got my socks blown off. I nearly had a little cry. He even says in it, on live on RT, on international news, and that's why the Queen has to ask permission to go into the City of London. I'm like, oh, come on, the Temple Roman Knights that got taught to fight the 1066. William couldn't do. It's all gonna. He didn't come out that far, but he did, bless him, get the fact that the Queen can't go into London, and everybody that's a royalist will be like, oh no, that's wrong. Of course, it's the Queen. No, she can't. It's not her territory. It's a separate nation. And he puts that down. I'm like, as if it wasn't enough to blow open money, he's only gone and added in. And by the way, the Queen can't even go in there. So all you royalists that think I'm a nutter, your own Queen can't go in certain parts of the country. Why is that? Money. And that's it. So contracts and agreements. So for the guy there, 33, we are on this and we can help you. I've just given you a massive boost. Enjoy and get back to me when you've got onto the case. Look at the comment. Oh wow, that is an honest and appreciated comment, 33. It's also an excellent comeback. Have you seen it, Kev?
Well, the last one.
Yeah, man, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Nice.
But it is true. I know that myself. People taking my lighters, keeping them in their pockets is. That's 33.
Two firmly gripped in my hand at the moment, and I'm the only one here.
I think 33's got a bucket of lighters somewhere as well. I've met tokers like that before. I forgot, sorry. Bless. Give Marilyn, I can't hello. Hello Marilyn, that's the lady I spoke to recently. I can give her a spanner, but my laptop's dead and died. No charger, so next time, Marilyn. Yes, hello, nice to see you. She's a new scribe, come from Sister Special K Button Moon. I can't tell you why, it's private, but I've rang her and had a chat and sent her some emails, so that's all good. Nice to see you, Marilyn. We'll look after you later. Get you blued up. And also, I've added you on the book of faces. I want to add you to SPL's Pro on Facebook so you can get in there, and she wants to frequent herself in certain traffic areas, I think, so some knowledge there. A maturer scribe. I'll be careful, I'll respect and keep private, but yeah, maturer, less knowledgeable in traffic areas, so I'll give you a friend request so then you can get in and meet the fam on FB. We've got the .com as well, but you can go on there. It's free access on the FB for a start, and we'll look after you the best we can, okay? So Kev, meet Marilyn. Sorry, we'll go meet.
Hello Marilyn, I'm Kevin. I'm the normal one. Dave's the loon back.
She's had a phone call from me, then oh. I met a friend. I'll keep that private, but he's got a YouTube channel, so it's all expansion, love and care. It was a privilege and an honour to meet you, Marilyn. Thank you, my love.
Yeah, the Queen was a damn squid. What was the point in that? 4 minutes and 20 seconds of pointless. Absolutely pointless.
And Menza, hello, good evening.
Wasn't worth it.
Welcome. Marilyn, new £20 as a symbol, looks like CV also. I was chatting to a tube channel, Dodgy Doctors, and
5G towers.
They've mentioned, from the tower in Margate or somewhere on the window, and they've gone up to it closely and give me a chat on the video, like, and zoomed in with his high definition cam, and then they showed me the symbol for corona. He's making a video actually. Dodgy Doctors on YouTube, I believe. So he'll, or it will be, maybe as another one. I don't know. I'll get you the link when it comes out. And he's on the other side, the coronavirus on the screen, and the symbol and the weird shape and the sticky out lines. And then he showed me the £20 note, and he reversed the coronavirus, what you see on the BBC screenshot, and he flipped the image on the software to then reverse the coronavirus from the national BBC image. That's what the screenshot was. I'm not just picking on them. All networks use the same image, and he flipped it. And so I knew that it was a coronavirus image from the national eye. You know what I mean? Is why he's used that, not just one from a book that you could think is from. Where is it? What book? And that you can find that image and still shot on the video. You'll recognise it as well. So when he flips it and he compares it to the £20 note, I went, "Shut up! This is not good." I went, "Even I know. I can see the tangent. I can see the weakness, but it's there." I went, "After the dollar bill, yo, and wow, and the towers and the burnings and the aliens and yeah, stop it, enough."
It's all about the Benjamins.
And yeah, it's just wrong. There was a trick when I was younger where you'd get a £10 note, and obviously 1994ish maybe, and I think no, I can't even begin to speak. They were still big and old style. That's all I can say. And you'd fold it in a certain way, Kev, and you'd made, I think it was John McEnroe. You got the Queen and the old man, and you got the old man's head. I think it was a scientist, Duck, Drake, somebody like this, and then you folded it in a way and you could get it. I think it was a fiver that made John McEnroe, and there was a tenner that made, it might have just been me, but hilarious. Hilarious. And then the Marlboro cigarette packets apparently had 3Ks, was it, on them when you unfolded them?
That's right. And you unfolded it. And,
Symbols and codes back in the day, eh?
yeah,
Old school ones.
certain colours.
Can't think what else there was. What zany, weird things. Horrible Jew, Marlboro spelt backwards as well, was it? Get it upside down and backwards.
Oh,
Not just the 3Ks.
could be. I never even heard that one before. That's a new one to me.
Yeah.
I'm old, Dave. That's one of your young bloke ones.
Shut you. What you talking about, Phillips?
13 years on you, boy.
But yes, we need more information. Menza, thank you. Noticed it just the other day, had it shown to me. Disturbs me greatly. But does no surprise. No surprise.
Yeah, there you go. So that's all off at the moment, isn't it? All that was meant to be going on somewhere, wasn't it?
What's that?
Olympics? I think there's something else.
Go on.
Everything's cancelled. The world's cancelled at the moment. Isn't it?
And he also, you've mentioned the Olympics, thank you. That same man showed me a video of the 2012 opening Olympics. NHS, beds, hospital, rewind, find the NHS, find the Olympics opening. And I'm like, he's saying to me, and you know what, he's like, you know Dodgy Doctors, Kev. He's like, Dave, that's not an effing, what's that got to do? That's got fuck all to do with sports, isn't it? They're kids in beds in hospitals. Look at this, NHS crumbling. He's getting all excited. He's making this video with a £20 note corona, and then he's got the Olympic thing is, I'm sorry for giving away his material, but I've copyrighted it at the same time by, you know, it's his idea that he's found and he's on with. So other ones that may hear it and take it, great. But he's also going to be coming up with. And I'm like, where's this? He's like, the 2012 Olympics, isn't it? I'm like, hospitals, beds, children, arenas. Ooh, that's a bit too close to bone as well, Menza. And Kev, thanks for linking that in. Ugh.
Yeah, I was hoping that was going to happen, man. So I thought, come on, this is going to be something juicy. Oh, by the way, Phil's been beside me about 3 weeks. He's starting to stink the bedroom up a bit now. So, but you better know. You're just going to torch him up. There's no need for a death certificate or nothing.
You can get them from your local post office now and fill them in yourself.
What, dead bodies?
Death certificates.
Yeah. Just run your own off. Just make one up. But don't forget, whatever you die of, it's COVID-19. Must go on the form. Just assume. It even says you might as well assume that's what you're going to die of. That's enough.
Yeah,
and
we need some.
If a policeman suspects you of being ill as well, because those the other medical experts now that they're going to become, fuck's sake, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yes,
Oh my God!
I agree there, Kev. They've got enough on the plate without doctoring as well.
Oh yeah, busy boys and girls that they are.
What capacity are you in? Constable, officer, or doctor? We need to update this.com and the vocabulary now.
I think you're unwell. Come to the station with me. Fucking hell.
My mum told me never to get in cars with strangers. I've told you what to say. Tell them what mum said.
You'll never take me alive, stinking pig. Sorry.
Badges. We don't need no stinking badges.
Would probably be my immediate response.
Yeah, since when has coughing been a crime? Well, as of 2020, March, you'll find. Actually, let me look it up. What?
Be knocking on the door. I'll be going, I'm not opening the door. You might be diseased. Fuck off. Everything's all right here, thanks. Jog on. Not opening the door to speak to anybody.
You see, we can't forget. We can't forget what we've learned just because a man comes in a suit and says, "Hello, we're going to be, looking after you now." What, really? The other ones that, after everything that's happened, we don't have much faith. We have lost the trust is the word here. We've lost the trust, and we'd like to sack them all and put in ourselves or a completely new system, either or. The chances of that are slim to F all. Sweet Fanny Adams chance of doing that. So we are quite tongue-in-cheek about it all now because, it's just look at the track record. So father, not getting them equipment and stuff. There's like Tony Blair and the Gulf War and the failings of and the Secret Services having to bail him out after what he started and all of this. I'll not get into it, but it's kind of again here, poor shame, really is. It shows you how strapped the NHS is when it hasn't got a warehouse full of any reserves. It's got made to order demand system, like we have our food, like we have our wage slips. Everybody's living hand to mouth, and we've got nothing at all, and everything we've got is coming from an institution with an agenda of money, and we don't like that, to be fair. So not only do you mess up, but you have the wrong interests at heart. A bit like the justice system, where justice has become profitable. We say no.
Stand aside.
I'll tell you now, anybody who was getting ill here, if the Queen or the Princess got sick and they got symptoms, I would take great pleasure in nursing them, not letting them near any kind of anywhere until absolutely critically necessary, where I go, I think you might need a ventilator or you're going to die, and I haven't got a ventilator. I can't do mouth to mouth. We're going to have to call 999 because at some point man will have to say, we need help or you're not going to make it, and we need equipment now.
Nebulizer.
Yeah. So there's only so much if that, a big infection came to somebody with a pre-existing medical condition such as COPD or asthma, a young one, an elderly, especially, we're being told to watch. So then, that's going to need machines to aid them, and silver and colloidal and honey and ginger and prayers and ground up seeds and circles around the moon that you might do, and whatever it is with the esoteric, holistic, herbalistic, I'm all for it.
Can I just say, while you're on this subject, Dave, can I just say seriously, if anybody has got any underlying, especially respiratory conditions, I would advise strongly, for the sake of, I think, 20 quid, just get yourself one of those portable nebulizers off of eBay or whatever, and some, if you haven't got any of, you can make some, or you can get some colloidal silver, just in case, because I tell you what, if this thing was to strike me, my chest's weak enough as it is, so I certainly won't be going anywhere near hospital, I tell you.
No, because you go in there and you get worse
No,
things.
I won't come out, mate.
Yeah.
Anyway, no chance. Sorry.
Yeah.
Definitely undesirable.
Yeah, for most of us, we've had trusts again, locally embedded agents. We've had trusts for the last year coming out with the spokesmen, and we've had select members of the parliamentary offices, trustees coming out and making them apologies. Steve Barclay, I think, was lots saying sorry, babies, ending of lives, loss of lives. One nurse told a parent, "Oh, it's your baby singing to you." Later on, after the baby had passed away, how horrific is this? They turned out, the nurse that said the baby's singing to you, it turned out the baby was in severe respiratory distress. Okay, and I don't know how I would deal with that. I don't really know. I'll be honest with you. As a sovereign self-initiate, I'd go away and I'd get angry at first. And every dad, I think, mum, even more so. We've got the, destroy something, not a human, but I need to go away for a bit and balance. Where the mum is very emotional and carried it for 9 months, and it's even more where dads think, and I have been here at a loss of a little one, and for my own son and with a mum, so I have had experience in a degree, and it was mostly unpleasant, as you can imagine, but not the most unpleasant. 5 out of 10 in the scheme of it, not lucky, but not the worst, but still grim. And these things are really, they are really grim, aren't they? To be fair, the way we find out that the ones we put there and pay these monies to tell us our ones are singing to us when they're in severe respiratory, and then we get, and that's just one little isolated thing. Do you know what I mean? And I can go on for weeks about this. So don't tell me, anybody, oh, you're being, and you too. No, we're not, and we're not paranoid either, because we back up everything we claim. So do you. Everybody does. But I'm really sad for this, because in the times of greatness, and we're all clapping these nurses, we're not all as great as what we could be, and we know that. There's a danger element still, isn't there? Possibly.
That's it, Dom. Exactly what you need. Keep yourself covered. Don't go near these these newly indemnified death factories.
Nightingale Death House.
Christ, yeah.
Welcome to the House of Death. Welcome to our house. Oh, I can see a remix here. Oh, well. Yeah, so we'll get through it together, won't we, as they say.
Of course we will. Don't sweat it. What you gonna do about it?
I'd like to know if there's any other continents on other than Anglo and America. We've had Sweden, Scanders.
Sweden don't give a shit.
Yeah, they're chilled out. They're smoking up the time, laid back. But no, any other continents? What's happening there? We have got news reports, but we don't always, as you can imagine, and know now, we don't trust them.
That's the trouble.
We'd like the first-hand knowledge.
Yeah, a lot of conflicting stuff out there. Certainly don't take anything from mainstream. Don't even bother. No point.
Well, it's got stream in it. That gives a clue there, doesn't it? Stream, water, frozen, boat people talk. Danger will, danger will, danger will. I'm turning into that robot from Lost in Space where he goes, danger. Well, everybody needs a sovereign protector. Danger. They did, solicitor speaking or something. Turn into a cross between the robot from Lost in Space with the danger will aspect, but then goes into C3PO mode and translates legal. That language is, by all records, is a legalese Roman such and such, and what he really means is, and then you go all 3PO on them and translate. Everybody needs one of them little AI little robots there for the yeah. Judge Dredd era that we're inventing when the judge comes on the street. Bosh. Have you met my friend?
Yeah, Lisa, funny enough, I was watching The Big Lebowski the other night.
The dude!
that tune's in there. So yeah,
The Big Lebowski, is that the dude?
yeah.
I watched it once and I was a little bit drunk and it confused me. Is that surprising? That's all I can say. I
He'll
remember the
confuse you
dude.
sober.
Really? Oh, that's all right then. I've watched it. It was a mid-90s with my next door neighbour at New Year's and he told me it was the best, funniest film ever. And to all intents, I remember it being a pleasant evening. But he got me spannered, he did, bless him. Got me proper spangled monkeyed on New Year's Eve.
Proper
I didn't see it.
spangled.
Yeah, on purpose. I was
Yeah.
a pale face in a darker face's house, and we were best of friends and that. You know, we get on. We'd lived together a couple of years, and come round like have a chill with me and wife, and some proper woodbines on that night, and some nice Ray Nephews. I think it was. Here we go, Ray Nephews Dark Spirit. Very nice quality brandy, I think. VSOP, Styly, Martell, some label, big, monies on the brandies, and some nice Jamaican Woodbine. I was gone by 11 p.m., fam. I don't know what happened. The dude got me.
Sweet.
I was watching it, thinking it's not making much sense here. There's an old man in a tracksuit that's cool. Good
It's not a
time.
bad film. It's a good film actually. But yeah, you do need to.
I had some magic mushrooms and started watching Donnie Darko. Not a chance.
Get it down, yeah.
Yeah, I was a sadist when I was younger, in my teens. Come on,
Excellent.
Dave, you seen this film? It's very good. We should watch. We should go have them mushrooms and watch this. See what happens. It's not funny.
Yeah, Paul. Many interpretations. I think that's just as valid as anything else. I just think obviously the correlations being made at the moment are obvious because of what's going on and easy and
Coronation's being made at the
you
moment.
can only make of yourself or by yourself from the evidence that's put in front of you. That's all you can do. Each individual has to do that. This is what's being reported. Make of it what you will.
Yes. What I'm gonna have to look in the room and see what go on. I ain't looked for a bit. And we're quite busy tonight. It has been quite. It's like the time has flown. It's 10 to 1. Time check.
Yeah,
And wow.
I know. I'm getting hungry. I knew it must be getting on because I'm hungry.
Going to roll me a woodbine roll.
Oh, I've got one of them ready. Might have to eat first.
Another lighthouse holograph. What if it's not a 5G symbol, but a transcendent to the fifth dimension, 5D, and the random circles are UFO? I like that. He's thinking. Chippy Paul thinks outside of the box. He's so
That's
far.
what I mean.
He's so far. He's so
Interpretation
far
is what's
outside
great.
of. He's so far outside of the box. He doesn't even see the box. It is open
He's
to.
trans-dimensional, man.
God,
He is the box. The box is Chippy Paul.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Tetragrammaton is not the one. Tesseract. Tesseract is the
Tesseract.
cube from thingy, Transformers and holographic cube within itself. I believe a never-ending out of the box, my man. Yes, I.
Nice one, Paul.
Danger Will Robinson echoed by Lux, and the truth thinks they're drunk because of the black screen.
Other screen colours are available.
Yeah, we went for purple, but it doesn't come through properly. It's more pink than purple. Salmony pink, you know how that goes. Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
no. Oh, can't have that.
It's not pink, it's salmon.
Salmon. It was the salmon mousse.
I saw a sketch
Name
the other.
what?
Go on.
I was going to say, name what film that's from.
I couldn't. No. I seen a sketch the other day on about IQs, and it tickled me because he said something to his partner, and it was regarding food and it being salmon, and she said, salmon's not a food, it's a colour. And she laughed at him, and I was like, wow, this is great, that was just.
What?
It was a sketch show about mick taking and
Bits of colour, yeah.
it's brilliant. It really is. Slapstick sometimes. That's what I need.
Well done, Craig.
What?
You win the internet today. That would have got to offer. How long have you been going? 3.5 hours.
3 hours 8 minutes and 38 seconds.
Oh yeah, sorry. So there you go. The rest of it's you and I. The warm up.
I was going to ask you, where are you over at Crow, but I thought private men's. I'm just sorry. Why am I touch late? I want to have a chat with Crow one day. I'd like to have just me and Crow, or Kevin I and Crow and his studio man, and just say hello. Not to cause any trouble, but he had Robert Sproul on, and I'd like to. I think we could go balls deep with Crow 777. I'd like to call
Balls
it.
deep,
Yeah.
Crow.
Dave and Kev, balls deep with Crow 777. Bosh, episode. Yeah, episode whatever. It don't matter. The numbers don't mean a thing.
Stadium filler. On tour, sod's tour.
I'll give you some new words. New words. You will need. You won't be able to stop. New word. New word. New word. That would be an incremental matter. I'm not saying is anyway. I'm just saying that we've got some weird words that I couldn't even say. I take after practice before I even attempt to utter them. It's just I got excited, when I heard him. He's an insightful. He's about 50. He's not a spring chicken. He can handle it. He's ready. I think he's about ready for the Dave and Kev. Santos and Romilly, FPV tried to by proxy get that going, and I tried. We put comments on, see what go on if we can. Santos has been. I've never seen a man so busy. He says he's not very well. I saw a Facebook cast. Man was on about having demons. Not very well. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? You can't just go from being sick and more gallant. Not that you can't. He can. He has done. But what I'm saying is, it's surprising that it's gone up and boomed from more gallons and over to the States and gone pow, 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 pow. And then, boo, South America, going live on Facebook, this is, and saying what he was saying. I'm like, wow, okay. This is it's interesting. Man, humanity, thoughts and feelings. Much love to him. See what go on. Yeah.
Fair play.
I made a cigarette for the garden.
Right, what's this then?
We've got agendas, we're aware of them. That Diane Jessie Miller, One by One, Rick Mail was the last film I saw, which was highly promoting the agendas, and we even talked about 9/11 in it, and that film by Diane Jessie Miller, One by One, you cannot get to download. You can't find it on a torrent site. You can't. It didn't come out at cinema. It was made on limited edition. I'm like, what is this film? And Rick Mail died after making it. It's on a mainstream release. It's full of agendas. Okay then, this is a wind-up or a sick little cult game that we've found out about. Nothing to do with Diane Jessie Miller. I don't know if she was, I'm not claiming. I'm just saying it looks like to me, everything all in, and agendas. Event 201, Menza. Are you aware of Event 201? Are you straight, yes or no would do, or anybody? And if you're not, I suggest you duck go it and get stuck in. Should let us know. Yeah, we are. We're doing a long goodbye. If you haven't guessed, everybody, we should be out of here by 2 p.m. Central Eastern Pacific time.
2 p.m. Yeah, not long now.
We're going.
Run the wind down.
It's like last orders at the bar, isn't it? Or when DJ stops playing, one more tune, come on. But it's us doing it as the hosts now, not the crowd. Come on, everybody, I'll give you another drink. I'll play one more tune. Yeah. You can go, Kev, if you need to. If you're fading, brother, we'll release you early.
Well, is it 1 o'clock? Well, how much longer are you going to do?
Well, we're just saying goodbye now, so.
Well, that's it then. Well, I'll hang around then.
We're fading away.
We'll leave together.
We're fading away.
We'll leave together. I want to be together.
Oh, yeah, that was an advert, wasn't it, for a bank, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right.
See?
Want to be
Why?
together.
Because I like the man that went, I want to be a tree.
That's right.
Tree. He was like, he did a rolling Welsh. See,
Yeah.
detailing that. That was an advert. Why have I got that? I don't need that. I didn't want that. I didn't ask for it, but it's there. Help me. What else was there? There was a man, I'm trying to think now, the man that wanted to be a tree. It's gone, it's too much, just that one thing. Goodbye, good night.
Shutdown has arrived.
Fucking big reset.
Here it comes. Strap your pants
Coronavirus
on.
patent acquired 2015.
Quite, yeah.
Mr. Gaines.
Yeah. We know.
Thank you, 33. We're all
He's
left.
made him God all of a sudden, that, eh? The medical expert. What's he got to do with any of it? Or he needs a 50 cal straight through the side of his head. Really does. I mean, these people, oh, Bill Gates says that. So, oh, he's a fucking expert now, is he? When did that happen?
Menza says, yeah, he knows, they know. Yeah, no.
Jono?
I did think a little bit of ego.
Like
And I didn't know if it was ego or if it was pride or passion. I hear what you're saying there, and I think I might be a bit too much for Crow. But then if you can understand Robert Sproul, good lord. I'm not now against Rob, I'm saying harsh Scottish accent is all I'm saying. Yeah, before we get on the Dave, I'm not attacking him, I'm just saying when you're in America and you're not used to Irish, and they are used, there's a lot of Irish bars in America, but you know, the accent's very stark. The Scottish is very, even for me, so I'm just saying that, you know, it's a bit of a language barrier, so if you can get on with that, then you can get on with giddy old Dave. Good job from Truth to us, Kev. Keep going from Craig. He wants one more tune. We'll give you. I'm going to say I'll give you one more tune. It's going to go back 20 years to the year 2000, and we're going to put on the 12-inch Positiva mix of Ian Van Dahl, and it's going to be Castles in the Sky. Do you ever question your life? Do you ever, what did she say? Wonder why? Something like that. Do you ever question your life? 20 years rewind on this, just live. It's just, sorry, but jump in if anybody knows. Do you ever question your life? Something, castles in the sky. Tell me why. Do we build castles in the sky? I will never sing that song. It's too much. I can't sing and I'll ruin it. But you get the drift there, yeah? I'm coming back with some castles in the sky, fam. Trust. That's all I'm going to say. And to the Queen, the last little bit I would like to say here is that we are some of the best Britons that have ever stood. Better than not because, like I say, just because of the technology we have and what we've learned, you know, through on the shoulders of our predecessors and our forefathers.
Giants.
Yeah, on the shoulders of them, we stand now with everything. We are the best version, the most powerful, supernatural man, you know, that the Britons have ever known. And there was a time once, I believe, long ago, when we was all like this, and before the city of London was created. So when they built the temple Wait, when I went to the Chancery, I went, Smithy, shit the bed. The Temple Church is spitting distance away from the Chancery. The Temple Church, you know that. You went, yes, Dave, calm down, breathe. I'm like, we're here, we're going in, it's all happening. Too many things to look at. Ooh, we're in London. The Temple Church and the Chancery was the highlight of the day. But London City built around the Temple Church, you see, after the year of, after 13, about 15 maybe, I can't remember. I think a settlement of, and the building, this is the church will have been built, they settled before the church, so whenever the church was there, I can't think now when that was built and when they settled, but in 1066 they was stronghold, so it was a good 500 years after the settlement. It didn't just happen overnight, but those monks, the search for the Holy Grail, it's covered in Da Vinci Code a bit with Tom Hanks, isn't it, with the symbology there for you, for
Yeah.
that fictional film that isn't so much fiction, and the detail in that with the temple.
Well, it's yeah. It was not upheld, but it's a rip-off of Holy Blood and the Holy Grail by Agent Lee and somebody else, basically.
So we've learned.
Which is a great book.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah, thank you. But we've learned
me.
What's wrong, what's right, what we can do, and we've done a lot of filtering, and it's like panning for gold. You got to sift through a lot of brown, smelly stuff before you find a gold shiny nugget, and that's what we've been doing. Everyone's been doing.
Or sweet corn.
Yeah, that's the one. So
I like it.
We get little signs along the way. We really do. I like Claudio where he says about the universe and nature giving him signs. I got a message or whatever in the form of an owl. I'm like, wow. There's not many people I speak to that you crack on with sentences like that, and the moon or the wind. I'm like, oh, you even know that this. It gets me. You all do. Some of you, in your ways, but you don't know that you do. But now when you hear others speak, you're like, yes, it is true. It is a belief or a fact or, whatever. But it's just nice to get that. You may not see them. You may not recognise them, but they are there. There is something letting you know. We call it coincidence, like I say. You call it luck, but Lady Luck is not so much a lucky thing. It's more of a, I don't know, how would you put it? Divine, esoteric way of looking at the metaphysical. You have the physical, and then we have a way of explaining the spiritual and the non-tangible, like we do in law. But within this law, the natural, divine positives, Hermeticism helps out immeasurably, the Kabbalion and such things. Yeah, I suppose so. You get that magneto-electro effect, and like I said, with the telephone calls and stuff then, and the messages and the coincidences, again, synchronicity and the chronos of it, which is you, God, granter of dominion, not the respecter of persons. So the supernatural part links in. So the title for this has been well upheld with the, well linked in with the monarchies and the sidelining with the guidelines, sidelines. Yeah. And the way that the 4, 3, 2, 1, Tetra, Tri, Bi, and Mon is the way, the main words that I would use, that I have used, that we will put forward to help illustrate, and then you'll see those words and how they're used, and there's many more, but these are just some to show you. And the monotheism, when I heard Santos say that, I'm like, what's that? He's like, that's the one God. I'm like, that's important because there used to be many. You went, exactly. I went, so we need to go from the many to the one. And that's what I've kind of done in that title, but we've done that through research, and that's not what this video's been about. But with the monarchy doing the speech and the money and where we're at, I just thought, loosely threaded. Well done all. Thank you for the busyness.
Yeah.
There's 26 here, Kev. We're going to get done here for ending now. I don't know. It's not ended with the high numbers.
That's not been bad.
No one's got work.
Pretty consistent all night. Yeah. Thank you. We're sorry.
It's now Monday morning, fam. 1 a.m.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
Crazy, isn't it? What a crazy world. Crazy time, brother.
But yeah, go and we'll relax. We'll let Kev go. I want to go. I need a little boys' room and I need a little munch.
I need something. Yeah, I've got to have something to eat.
Kev's
Even
going
this time of night.
hyperglycemic here on the phone, live.
That actually, yeah, that bit's all right, but I've got to eat something.
We will.
I normally wouldn't, but I'm gonna.
We will say lots of love and ciao. We'll
Yes,
get off
thank you
and
so much.
we'll be back. Say when? When shall we come back? Wednesday? Shall we make it for these?
We could do so Wednesday. That's fine.
Yeah. So Wednesday about 9:30, we'll come back. We'll reconvene midweek then, and unless there's anything urgent that we need to come back with beforehand. So we'll see you Wednesday 9:30, and we'll continue on with the whatever it is, chat, cafe, updates. Yeah.
Yeah, love to everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good numbers. Really pleased you could be here. Hope we've entertained you. And we'll see you Wednesday. Unless breaking news, something massive happens. And then we'll see you sooner.
Yes, Dom agreed with Dom and all the comments. Thank you all. Much love. Thank you, Kev. You're a legend. There's too many comments to read. Wow. Much love to you all. Good night. Creator universe bless. And we'll be back Wednesday, yeah?
Indeed. Big love to everybody. Thank you.
We're tired. We're old men. We need to recharge. You lot, look at these young spruces. Chickens going. Yeah. All right. Much love to you. Thank you. That's it. I'm just giving you a chance to get them in. They're typing now. Thumbs up, share, and we'll see you Wednesday. Bosh. There's loads coming in. Look, I dared and press it, Kev.
Yeah.
We go in.
Right.
3.
Oh, we go now.
Yeah, 2, 1. Ciao, bello.
Come back. All of you. Come back and see us.